Welcome to Halftime Heroes with the latest sports news from around the Mornington Peninsula. With Adam Kelly, Peter Susovich, Neil Craig, Leigh McQuillan, Luke Harris and Chris Gamble. Take it away, Adam.
G'day sports fans and welcome to the Halftime Heroes. I do have so much to catch you up on. What a big week of football it's been in both Divisions 1 and 2 across the weekend with some very interesting results. But I do, in fact, have Commish some very important news, and we are very proud to tell you, and it's fresh, isn't it, Commish?
It's fresh.
It's absolutely
very fresh.
Straight hot off the press. We are now proud owners of a couple of grandkids, Commish, because
yes,
yeah, no,
it's a lot easier being in the garage. I can tell you.
We confirmed today, boys, that and we are all very up and about and very excited. We are now sponsored by Toyota of Frankston, Mornington and Rosebud. So well done to them for jumping on board and getting involved with the Halftime Heroes. Absolutely. I'm
a big tundra for the big boy.
Oh, the tundra.
Oh, what a feeling. What a feeling.
Oh, there it is. There's the first one. Ching. There we go. I love it. Well, it has been a very big week in football. As I go around the room, Sus, thank you to you and your family for the lend of your beautiful garage. It's just looking a treat every single time we rock up.
It's fantastic. Do you like the heating today?
The heating was, I reckon it took
cyclonic.
About 43 seconds to heat up. Sus comes with it. Might get a picture of it up on socials a little bit later. But
you better give it back to Jetstar because those planes they don't go so good on one engine. That's so true.
There's one of their jets is just doing laps in circles, like a fly.
We have an engine down.
Like a fly with one wing.
In fact, it's gone.
No, but it's been another great week in footy, so we'll get into that. But yeah, I'm fantastic, and it's how are you guys?
Yeah, very good. Very good. We're very good. We're up and about.
No one asked how you were, Sus, but how are you?
I just said you came and said
you're very excited, aren't you?
Very excited.
It has been a huge week in football. Hello to you, Commish. Welcome back.
Hello, Adam. Good, mate. And very good to be back, I can assure you. It was a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Lord, over 2 and a 4-year-old. Oh, my God.
And
boys just run into each other.
And Gammers and I were telling you off air that possibly the best coaches corner last week. Yeah,
well,
it was.
I was not going to review that coaches
corner
and I'll give you a little rating.
Ever.
Is that right?
It was so quick. It was so clean. No one interrupted.
Yep.
Forget about the coaches corner from now on then. If you did such a good job.
Bit of nature in it.
Come on, mate. Come on. Bring yourself back. Bring yourself back.
I love it. Yeah. So good. Macca. Yeah, good to see you too, mate.
Is that really
you
him?
are
is
back.
That him?
Yeah. It is him.
It is him.
It is him. Yeah. Hello, kiddies. Hi, kiddies.
A winning Macca.
A winning Macca. He's very up and about.
Now, I do have to put in a disclaimer because I am a school principal and
you are.
Miss Mo isn't probably the greatest look at Tookrook Primary School. However, when you got blokes like BJ Credlin and Laffer and Kai Armand and Huey Sport and Mo's, I had to join them.
Yeah.
I had to join them. If I want to be part of the club, I had to grow it. So that's
and Mrs. Macca?
Yeah, not so happy. Ask me what month it was.
Mate,
but,
they're in their mid-20s.
Yeah, they are.
It's
it's probably the only hair on my body that's not great.
Yeah.
So
We'll
I'm maintaining. But anyway.
That's because you do a little comb through, isn't it? Just with a bit of colour.
That's it. Yeah. So
No,
I'll hold it for the moment.
Looking sharp, mate. Congratulations on a great win
Thank you
over
very
the weekend as well that we'll get to very shortly. Chris Campbell, Gammers, welcome to the Halftime Heroes, mate. And Sus Garage again.
Oh, how good is it to be back home?
Absolutely.
It's well heated, green.
Yeah, green.
No drinks today, though.
No drinks. No cheese
Just
and bickies.
noted.
Let's jump straight into the results. What was Division 1 football over the weekend? The first game saw us kicking off down at Dromana Recreation Reserve. We saw 16-8-104 get the job done against Sorrento, 9-11. There was a little bit of that going on over the weekend. Some standout players, of course. Dromana, are they back to their best?
Standout player. What about standout family?
Standout family. There's no question about that. Sam Gertz, Billy Gertz, Sam Fowler, Toby Gertz. Only going to get better, Macca. But
how old's Toby?
Toby's, I think,
14 or something?
17, 16
Well,
or
he
17.
would be. He played in my Vic 12s
Yeah.
a few years ago, so he'd be 17.
He'd be
Right.
17, yeah. I
Yeah.
thought he was
Wow.
17. And apparently he's going to be one of the best, if not the better, of the Gertzes.
Wow, that's
Or is there
saying
another
something.
one coming, Macca? I think there's
I
another.
think there's another one.
And
I
then
think
the-
there's another one. But yeah, no, he's certainly a good player though. He's an up and comer for sure.
And Luke Oborn played with 27 points.
Like it.
Now, the rumour mill sus, it is
is it?
well
Right.
and truly alight. I did allude to it, I think, last week, but there are some past premiership players that might be just making their way down the Nepean Highway again towards Dromana.
Yeah,
On the bus,
well.
on the
On
7,
the 788.
It'd
788.
be a work of art for Dromana if they
Could have
they
been.
pull this one off.
could have been rerouted from.
Hey, wouldn't it?
Would be. It
Hey,
certainly would be.
are we, what
They,
are we talking about here, Macca?
Well,
Are we on or not?
Well, I don't know. I'm hearing rumours myself, but I'm just not too sure. But they look when we played them, and I was having a chat to a couple of Dromana guys afterwards, actually supporters of the club, and there was a bit of chatter upstairs at
Okay.
Alex Park around a couple of blokes possibly coming back.
Right.
So yeah, I won't name names, but it does sound like it.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Right.
No, I heard from a very reliable source that there are some players coming back. There, no names are confirmed yet, but look, if
But it would be a work of art.
well, it would, yeah, exactly
Yep.
right.
And there could be a war going on somewhere as well.
Oh, can we just keep on going with this? This is gold. This is gold. In the best for Sorrento was Aaron Bremen, Shannon Gladman. He just won't go away. He's incredible, that bloke. Malcolm Newland, Bailey Holt, and Ryan Polkinghorn Sus.
Do you reckon you can win a footy match with 70 hit outs against 21?
No,
Jeez, that's pretty.
That's a
70 to
dominant
21.
display.
Dominant.
Yep.
So we're
Dominant
talking
display.
off air, but just before we got on here, but is that talking more to the decline of Sorrento or the uprising of Dromana, or a bit of both?
I'm going to say the uprising of Dromana.
Yeah.
I actually think they're a very good side. Like we talked about them in round one, and we saw it, and they had a couple of debuts. I think Sullivan and I can't remember the other bloke, young bloke's name, but they had a couple of debuts, and I think that they're just starting to settle. I honestly do,
okay.
and I think because you look at Sorrento side, it's a pretty stacked side as well. They've got a pretty handy midfield and stuff. So you look, and Shannon Gladman, I had a chat with him not long ago. Like he's been pushed a little bit forward, which is pretty unique because he's a pretty handy midfielder.
absolutely spot on. But the diversity of what he can do, and just his leadership out in the ground, Macca, it's
Absolutely.
incredible.
Yeah.
And for him to be able to push forward of his calibre, and they just have that little bit of security going forward. It's unreal.
You look at the fours, so only Rosebud has kicked more score this year than Dromana. So that probably says a bit about Dromana as well. They haven't been too far away, and they're now
No,
starting to
exactly.
hit their straps.
Yeah.
Yep. No question about that. The next game, we went down the road or up the road to Emil Madsen Reserve, and Man Eliza, congratulations, back on the winning list, 13-13-91, defeating Langwarren 8-9-57. The best for Man Eliza was Mitch Smith, Oliver
Feister.
Tommy Freeman, good. He kicked a bag. Christopher Carey and Fletch Bain are welcome back as well. No questions with 33 points. And for Langwarren, it was Joshy Smith, Hayden, Golby, Max Poulis, Jaden Jubenko, and Corey Safandoris.
Yeah, no. I had a really good look at. I actually watched this game, and Corey
you went down?
Sleffendorfus. Yeah, I did. If he's not AFL ready at 17, by the time he's 19, he's got legs like tree trunks. He is ready to go.
Well, we were lucky enough to have Beardy in the
Yeah,
studio
no, he's
a couple of weeks
a
ago,
beautiful
and
build of a kid. And leaps.
He's very, very
Sure,
exciting
ruck.
player. And Langwarren played with surprisingly 40 points out of 42. So what was
Well, having said that, they brought in Matthew Johnson,
Yes.
who was an ex-Beaky boy who would come in as a 5-pointer, and
Yeah.
Josh Smith from VFL. So they brought in 11 points
Yep.
on the back
So
of the
many-
VFL
yep.
buy.
Well done, Josh Smith, and collectively with 11 points. You're right.
Yeah, super
That's
competitive
why
game,
we
mate.
have you on board, Macca.
Do you know what else is great to see?
What's great to see.
The Mount Eliza cap has emerged again after a win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just
Just found it,
I
did you?
actually
Just found it.
I found
Where
it.
was it?
It was under the castle.
What'd you do? You found it about half past.
No, I
Found it about 5:30 on Saturday.
I dusted it.
Okay.
Back on
Fair
the
weather
winning
support.
list, and he dons the hat.
What's wrong with that, son?
No, I'm just wondering what car, that's all.
Europe.
Wasn't one of-
It was a Land Cruiser.
It was a Toyota Land Cruiser, thanks
It
to
was a Toyota.
Frankston Toyota,
Oh,
Mornington and
wow.
Rosebud. Ching, 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 ching.
But a really competitive. We look at the breakdown of the scores. Langy were right until 3/4 time, and Mount Eliza just found their running game about 5 minutes in the last quarter and just flicked it around and were just way too good in the finish. But it was competitive there for a long, long while.
Scoring end in that one because Langwarren have kicked one goal in the last.
No, there was barely a breeze. Okay, this is Saturday at Emerald Massey. No, there was barely a breeze. It was cold as all hell.
Yep.
No, there really wasn't a scoring in. But no. Pretty good. They've got their running game back, the boys, which is very pleasing to see.
Interesting, Mount Eliza, 88 tackles compared to Langwarren, 57.
So I don't think Beardy would have been
normally the opposite.
Happy with that. Correct.
Normally
I don't think
the
Beardy
opposite.
would have been happy with that.
Yeah, look, I think it speaks to the Mount Eliza, that flicking the ball, running game off halfback. They couldn't catch him. So it's hard. If you can't tackle them, if you can't catch them. So
I noticed Strickland back in too.
Yeah, fantastic. Been killing them in the twos, Macca. And
Yeah.
I had a talk to Stricko at the just after the YC twos game, and I think he was in the best again, or probably the top of the best, and was looking forward to playing some senior footy. It's great.
Yeah,
he was fantastic to Rye.
Yeah.
He was.
He was.
Did he win the BNF down at Rye that year?
Oh,
He must have gone very close.
Yeah, he went close. He was pretty handy.
2024 last year. Yeah.
Yep.
So he's back at 2023, but he's back at Mount Eliza and back in the senior team and played well.
Yeah.
Makes great decisions off the half-back line.
Yep, credit to him.
Oh, he's got a bit of chirp in his voice, doesn't he?
Jeez.
You've got a bit of chirp. In
Just looks different.
He does.
Looks a bit
He does. It
red
must
and
be
blue
that.
again.
Yeah.
It's nice.
I reckon he
Well,
might.
it's-
I reckon he might have the Mount Eliza
my
jocks
eyes?
on as
I
well.
can do it for you.
Man, Eliza
I
Jocks.
did know, like Gammers hat's crisp.
That
Yours
is crisp.
That is. It's got a bit of blood in it, though.
It does this week.
Yeah, we'll get to that tin now. The
Had to get through the car park after the game.
With glassing on the way out.
Had to have my own security.
The next game saw Pines taking on Edith Vale Aspendale. Edith Vale way too strong in the end, 9-13, defeating Pines 8-4-52. There was some interesting vision coming out of that game. Pines just, maybe Sus getting a little bit physical again, which is what Pines are known to do, but just couldn't get the job done.
Oh, it was interesting. 19-minute mark of the second quarter, and a big person decides to go for a bit of a walk, and then I don't think Kurt liked that, and 30 seconds later tackles him to the ground and gets a free kick. So, but it was great to see both ruckmen, Brown and Russell
Gabriel.
Russell Gabriel were neck and neck. So it was that, and each quarter swung, which was great. But the physical presence, I think I mentioned it last week, of EDFs up against Pines, that broke them.
Well, we saw that a couple of weeks ago, Rosebud tried to take it to them and just couldn't get it done. But obviously, Edith Vale learned something from that. Maybe Sus and just took it to them a little bit more. Macca, maybe.
Yeah, well, in round one when we played E, they're pretty physical.
Yeah.
So they were going to match fire with fire, and then it just comes down to who's got the better quality. So I'm not surprised. Obviously, we've had a look at both of them, and we've probably lost to both of them by 5 goals. So to me, it would have been a pretty close game, but I'm not really surprised that they won. They got a pretty good list, and I'm looking at their list now. They haven't changed much since round one. I think Pendlebury's not there, but there's not much else. I'd be surprised if they've used many players this year. Yeah. So consistency is the key for them.
Yeah. I noticed too that this time around, I think what's his name? Excuse me, Tyrone Vickery only managed the 2 goals.
A couple,
yet Kay McKenzie's named in the best.
Kane's pretty handy.
Yeah,
he's a defender. So I've always pumped up. I don't know Kane at all, but obviously having played against him in 23, rate him highly. So that's not surprising. He holds a lot of blokes to minimal goals.
Absolutely.
And I think
the same thing. Gammers, but did the same thing to Kuipers, Blake Kuipers as well.
He blankets them.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
There's a lesson to be learnt here for Pines with Kurt Lopo. We haven't seen much of Kurt Lopo on the best this year. Last year, EDS, best player, Kurt Lopo, week in, week out.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
So don't fire the little bloke up because he just plays so much better.
Yeah. Yep. No, I agree
They're
with that.
both very physical these teams, aren't they?
They are.
And by the scoreline, it looks like it was just one of those physical battles through the midfield because it's not a whole bunch of goals there.
I think you'll find too that Jared Gatt was back playing as well, and he had a lot
fantastic
of football.
And just his movement from the full back line right through to the centre was amazing.
Yeah.
It's not a full side for EDS though. Well, you mentioned Pendlebury, but the Adelaide recruit, he's not playing.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
I've had a blank. What's his name again?
I'll find that for you.
Yeah,
but I
thank
don't
you.
know
Yeah,
what
fact
you're
check.
talking about because he ripped us a new one in round one.
But yeah, not a full team. So that's a great win for EDS. They are looking
It was interesting.
very strong.
Tyrone Vickery was playing up the ground a fair way, and a lot of set plays he was creating. He marked at centre half forward, pretended to go long and go for goals, and just set play forward, and then dropped it 20 metres out the front of goals.
So potentially Sus bringing Kay McKenzie out of the game.
Yeah. Look, not really. Look, it was
out of his
both
comfort zone. maybe.
physical.
Comfort zone.
Yeah.
He
But
got tangles,
there
kicked
was
a couple.
2 or 3 set
Yeah.
plays that he was involved in. It was really good.
Jordan Glucci.
Well coached.
Talking about
That's
Jordan
right.
Glucci.
That's right. Yeah, he's not playing.
Well, speaking of Kay McKenzie,
coached.
was named in the best along with Jacob Boyle, Russell Gabriel, Bo Hendry and Mitchell Bent. And they played with 41 out of the 42 available points. For Edith Vale Aspendale, it was Kurt Lopo. We spoke about that man, and he is only going to get better as the competition goes on. Tarkin White, Lewis Diggins, Carl York and Charlie Martello. Some very prominent
There's some
names
class
there.
there.
Absolutely,
There's some class
Gammers, isn't there?
Absolutely. They're flying. They're
Are they ever?
game clear in the top 2 now with Rosebud. So definitely franking their promotion from Div 2.
I tell you what, Lockie Sharp can't be far away from a game at Frankston.
Yeah, look, he was at Sommy a couple of weeks ago, and now he's gone on a tear. He thought he was getting pretty close. The problem is no one's out of form in that side.
Yeah,
Well, they're
like
playing really
Johnson.
good footy as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
So
pretty
he's
form.
knocking on the door, and hopefully he gets to break into that team really soon.
The next game we saw up on the hill at Red Hill, they hosted Mornington Football Netball Club, 11-4-70, getting the job done over Red Hill. They would have been absolutely sipping their Pinot Noirs, and they would have been absolutely mortified. 8-10-58. Good win by your boys, Macca. You'd be absolutely proud as punch.
Yeah, we are, because we spent 3 weeks, like after we had that dismal effort against Rosebud, we spent 3 weeks talking about our efforts against 3 quality sides. You know, you play Dromana, you play Mount Eliza and push them, you play Dromana and you push them, and you play Pines and you push them, to a point where, you know, in all 3 of them, we felt like even in the last quarter, we were a bit of a sniff, especially against Mount Eliza. That went real close. Probably not so. Pines probably got us a little bit earlier in the last, but certainly against Dromana, we were still in the game. So we knew we'd had 3 really good weeks, and we just had to put it together, and we knew this was our chance, both sides 0 and 5, you know. We're just sitting above them in percentage. But we've just put a lot of time and emphasis into our last 3 weeks on just changing the way we moved the footy and how we defended behind it. So we just made some adaptations on how we'd been playing.
Yep.
And ironically, in that side, we had 7 under-19s.
Yes.
That's
so we played
fantastic.
7
Yeah, we saw
under-19s,
that
2 of
message,
them are
yeah,
bottom
that's awesome.
ages. So Price and Wonderly are both double bottom ages. So those kids, and like Bodie McQuillan, kids like that, Tommy Stewart coming in for his first game. We've debuted 13 this year.
Yeah, that's
We've used
fantastic, mate.
37. And so we're pretty chuffed with where we're at in regards to young fellas.
Yeah,
but with
that's
that, you
great.
can get a bit of a drop off.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
because you're relying on Credlin and Owens and these older blokes, you know, Laffer and that to get you up every week. Matty Jones is, you know, playing super footy at 37. And so you're relying on, you know, you've got that big gap between your older blokes and then your mid-tiers, and then it drops right down to these 18-year-olds and 17-year-olds. So,
But Macca, there's good drop-off and there's bad drop-off.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
well, yeah.
If you're dropping
because-
off because you're playing the kids, don't worry about it. It's all gonna come
100%.
good
And,
later.
and the other thing is our under-19s are unbeaten.
Yeah.
And we've got 7
That's
of them in
fantastic.
Saturday, so they're travelling beautifully.
Yeah,
so
no.
we're not going to detour from where we're headed with these kids.
No.
We're going to play them.
Yep.
And we're going to keep backing them. And there'll be a couple more that debut, which is exciting as well.
Yeah, mate, it's fantastic.
And I've heard some positivity around the administration of Mornington Football Netball Club, Macca, where they're on board as well, which is always important.
This is what I'll say, and I don't just say this because I'm on here and I'm at Mornington.
Yeah.
I've been at 5 different clubs as a coach, and we have the board's 100% behind us.
Yeah.
So the support, you and I don't ever feel like we're looking over our shoulders going, geez, we're 0 and 5.
Yeah,
You know, we don't feel like that at all. So we've got 100% support in the way we're going. Even last year when we'd had 5 wins and we went up against Red Hill in the last game of the year, we had full support of everybody saying, if we have to go back to Div 2, we have to go back to Div 2. It is what it is.
Yep.
And they were pretty happy that we stayed up. But it wasn't a matter of us moving on if that was the case.
Yeah.
And the club's been really supportive. They want us to play the kids. So we're backing the kids, and that's what we're doing. And I think the Mornington Footy Club will be beautifully placed in a couple of years.
absolutely, mate.
Mornington's always been a robust football club.
Yeah.
And they continue to display that. And that's how good clubs look.
Yeah.
It's all kudos to you, mate. Now, can I ask you from a coaching point of view, was there a scoring end at Red Hill?
Yeah, there was. Yeah, so opposite
Clearly,
the club rooms.
yeah,
So
okay.
they had it in the first quarter, and it was pretty cold, as you can imagine, up there. and
yeah.
the rain was coming in sideways. And so we knew it would be a low-scoring game with Dow. And when you've got blokes like Gresham and Slattery and, Mitchell, the
Yep.
3 ball blokes who just crack in, and then because they've got some pretty handy players.
Yeah,
you
they
know,
do. They
so
do.
credit to them. They hung around the whole game.
Yep.
We probably should have put them away a little bit earlier, but they snuck back in again.
Okay.
They got within a
They
goal.
don't go away.
They
no
got
way
within
they
a
go away.
goal with a could have been a draw or got a bit closer, and we were lucky enough to shake them. And credit to them because they just kept coming.
Yeah, great second quarter. Of course,
Great
in the
second
Real good second quarter.
Yeah.
Real
So
good second
there was
quarter.
no changes made at quarter time.
No, we
No,
lost.
real.
So one of our kids got knocked out. Price got knocked out. He won't
Yeah,
probably
okay.
play footy for a month now. He's
Yeah,
had a few.
shit.
So we lost him early. And we also had another one, a senior player go down. So we were down to 20 players at halftime. But what we asked for was just our midfield to rotate forward, stay on the ground.
Yes.
You know, we had Voss playing obviously from Frankston as well. So when you keep Jones, Voss, LaFontaine, Owens, all them on the ground and just say, boys, we're just going to rush you down at deep forward.
Yep.
And then Payne goes down and kicks a goal
Which
down
I
deep
love.
forward.
Yep.
Owens goes down and
Yep.
kicks a goal down deep
Yep.
forward.
Yep.
Moody goes forward.
Yep.
You sort of, even though they're not getting a break, they're quality players to have
Yeah.
deep.
Yeah.
So would that normally be a 3-wayer, including
Oh,
the bench?
that'd be off the bench. Yeah, all of them
So
come
does
off
that
the bench.
does that
Yeah.
send a message to you now? Where you continue?
Yeah,
that's
well,
something you can do. Now.
all
These
the
guys hate
coaches-
being off the ground, don't they?
They
These good
normally
players hate
come
being
off.
off the ground.
Yeah, they hate being
being
up, but
off.
they normally come off.
Yeah.
So we spoke to them and said, how'd you like it? And the boys said, I reckon it might be a new thing that we do.
Yeah, there you go.
So
I
like it, eh?
Very
They
good
didn't come up
from
with
you,
that stuff
Commish.
last week,
No,
did they?
no, don't tell him, Macca.
So, Macca, you played a lot of kids. Tell us about how the young kids would have benefited playing with someone like Jackson Voss, because he is an out-and-out star.
Yeah.
So they must have been chuffed.
I wondered that because Price played, he's only 16. He played in round one and he was in the midfield, but then on the weekend we didn't play him in the midfield because he couldn't fit in.
Yep.
So we had to play him as a forward pocket. But they learned so much from watching Voss play. And even, to extent, Laffer's one that the boys learn a lot off and he coaches a lot, out on the ground. So some of these kids, even Kai Wonderly, I look at Kai Wonderly out on the wing and he's a 6'2" gazelle, probably 80 kilos ringing wet, but he just moves the footy beautiful. And he's like a Matty Kane sort of type kid that'll end up forward. But, Bodie McQuillan, Bodie McQuillan said to me after the game, because he played his first game against Red Hill in the last game of the year and we won, and then we've beaten Red Hill.
Lucky
That's
charm.
2
Lucky
games ago. He
charm.
said, mate, I'm the lucky charm.
Playing every week.
So, good on him for jumping. And then Tommy Stewart didn't get a game in the from the under-9s last year. He comes in, plays his first game, kicks 2 goals as a small forward. Credit to him. That's all. I just said to him, mate, don't leave the 50. We need you to tackle like Bo McCreary.
Yeah.
Turn it over, hit the scoreboard. It's exactly what he did.
Fantastic.
So they're role players. They're role players, and we're getting that week in, week out.
Love
So
it.
whether it's Bannon or I'm just stoked that I would never have thought we'd debut 13 in 1 year. It's a lot.
It's
Yeah,
good.
it's
a lot.
Yeah.
That is
And you're still on top of the 9-8 ladder. That's fantastic.
Yeah, for sure.
That's not hurting you.
Too.
So,
Exactly. For the best, Red Hill, it was Patrick McDonald, Michael Gresham, you named it, Macca, Dylan Atkins, Joshua Mould, and Tyne and Bresson. They played with 30 points. And for your boys, you had Matty Jones, Mitchell Blum, Jackson Voss, that man there, Jared Hicks and Ned Moody. So pretty important players getting in the best, played with 42 points.
Yeah, we're maxing out. And I mean, Voss was obviously a 5 on the weekend.
Yeah.
He's a 6. So they're both our VFL boys.
Yeah,
so
no,
depending.
absolutely.
And look, Vossy will go back next week, and I don't think Moody's far off playing. So, if they get that opportunity, it'll free up a few points, and we'll be able to sort of use that and maybe not max out every week.
No, exactly. But when they're available, you got to do what you got to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. No,
Yep.
very important.
Yep.
And thanks to the halftime heroes selection table match of the round was against Rosebud, taking on Frankston YCW at home at Olympic Park. Rosebud getting the chocolates there by 25 points. They are well and truly on top and up and about. 11-9-75 played YCW 7-8-50. I'm not surprised, really, Macca. I thought that it was going to be one in the midfield. It looks like it was one in the midfield, and Rosebud, Danny Aids, congratulations, mate. Great scalp. And I think that sets the tone as them probably being the real deal.
Yeah, I think it does. Like I said, I'm pretty bullish about them. And but interesting to note in that game, though, after quarter time, 6-6 to 6-7.
Yeah.
So it's been that first quarter. They just jumped them.
Yeah,
and got
absolutely.
them early. So
They only managed to kick one in the fourth.
Yeah. So it's a pretty tight game after quarter time. I saw Hartung probably had leather poisoning with another 40.
Yeah, it's incredible.
He's a pretty handy player out there, and obviously complemented by their inside bulls in White and Huss. And look, they're a pretty complete side, as we know.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
In the best.
I watched YC the previous week against Meadows at YC, and guys like Kavanagh, Darcy, Lammy, Byron Barry running the back line, little Sampers popped up with 4 goals.
Yeah,
I mean, just pops up the pop-up king. They were clean against me. They were clean and hard, and they had winners across every line. I'm a little bit surprised. 25 points. That's a decent belting against YC because they're up and about. Just goes to show where Rosebud are at.
I think it's more surprising that it happened in 25 minutes of footy by the looks of it.
Yeah.
It's a game after quarter time, as Macca said. So, like, Rosebud's just obviously just bang, bang, bang. And
firing. And
that's the game.
Yep. Absolutely.
Matt Hill's playing well too. Like I know he's a bit of a journeyman now because he played at Red Hill and then he went over to I think Coringle, possibly for a year, and then now he's here. So, but he's getting in the best most week. So
it's good.
Best for Rosebud was Zach Maynard, Liam Tidd, William Hartung, Campbell Huswaite, and Mitchell White, and they played with 42 out of the 42 available. Sus, and for Frankston YCW, it was Matt Hill, that man there, Blake, Mullane, Christian, Sampus, and Heath, Bidgood, and Max Gregory. That rounds out the best, and they played with 36 out of the 42 available points.
Have a look at number 26 for Frankston YCW. We've been talking about it for a while.
Oh, Shem.
He was in there.
He was. And
So that makes it even better.
Yeah, it does. And for Rosebud, it makes it very impressive.
So if you've been listening and watching the Halftime Heroes, we have been talking about this player for many weeks now. It was Chin that alluded us to it, wasn't it?
He said he was going to be the MVP.
Tatupu, Shem Tatupu comes from... Where does he come from? He comes from
St Kilda City.
St Kilda, St Kilda City.
Ex-Hawthorn listed, ex-Frankston Dolphins listed. Yep.
So very, very handy pickup. But when he's and Macca, we've spoken about this a lot. But when you're up against sort of 3 rucks in each zone, it doesn't matter who you are. You're up against it. No, even Max Gorn. I think it's Max Gorn and Darcy Cameron, our boy Macca.
That's it.
I think DC'd struggle.
Yeah, and you look at that too. They've gone in really big. So I didn't realise he'd played. And then Jackson Mead's a big boy. Zach Tobin's a big boy. Max Williams is big. Yeah. So they've just gone in. Obviously, looked at Rosebud and gone, we need some thicker set boys.
They do.
Conditions didn't probably suit either.
No,
exactly.
No, that's right.
But I mean, it's a good win by Rosebud.
No, very good win. Well, that rounds out what happened in round 6. If everyone's happy, let's get stuck into round 7. It's going to be played out on Saturday, the 24th of May, with the first game being Mount Eliza taking on Rosebud. Now, this is Commish, a very, very close second to the selection table match of the round.
If Mount Eliza had a couple more wins, you'd have this one, but they're not. But this is a true test for the Mountie boys now.
It is, isn't it? They'll bring some confidence into this coming game against Rosebud. There's no doubt about that. It'll be interesting to see what Ricky does with them on the track this week.
Yeah, nothing because he's in Queensland for the week. But,
there you go.
Can Mount Eliza's run and gun out slick Rosebud? I don't know. I don't think it can.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a real tough one. This is 2 totally different.
It is. It's bookends.
Yeah.
So
it'd be interesting. A home ground advantage, maybe, but
barely. It's against these better teams.
Yeah, I think Rosebud.
Yeah, I'm going to say Rosebud.
Who takes the reins then in Ricky's absence?
Yes, he's gone up to Queensland for a family member's birthday, I believe.
Yep.
He's got a number of assistants. He's got 4 or 5 assistants.
He's got some good assistants.
Yeah, he's got some great assistants.
Really nice.
Joey is the senior assistant down there, so he'll take over the reins. And I'm pretty sure they're used to pretty much front training themselves. I think.
Okay. Yeah, that was going to be my next question, whether the players led it a little bit more in his absence. Yep.
Yeah,
Gammers, who do you like for this one in the recognising reconciliation round is the upcoming round?
Yeah,
get your mouth around that a couple of times after a few.
3 R's.
Reconciling reconciliation round.
Recognising,
3 R's.
Yeah. I'll go 4 R's and add Rosebud to that.
Yeah.
We're recognising reconciliation.
Yeah. Okay, that's
good.
Sus.
Rosebud, I think. They're just on a bit of a mission at the moment.
Yeah, they are. They're not going to go away anytime soon. The next game is also touted to be a fantastic game to be played out at Mornington Alexandra Park at the Pavilion, with Mornington taking on Lang Warren. I like this game a lot too, Sus.
If if the result went closer last week for Langwarrin and Mount Eliza, I'd be saying Langwarrin. But, geez, on a small deck, just favours Mount Mornington just a touch.
The scoreboard from the Mount Eliza Langwarrin game flatters Mount Eliza. Langwarrin were in this right to their back teeth.
Yep.
With about 15 minutes to go. They just got outrun on that big ground by 10 or 15 minutes. That's all, mate. This is a great game.
Yeah, it's a great game of footy. Macca, what does this week look like?
It'll be similar to the last 4 weeks, to be honest. Like, because we like I said, we adapted a few things, and we've stayed that course.
Yep.
So it'll be very similar. But we went out in that Red Hill ground and defended it in a similar way to how we defend our smaller ground. But we certainly had a real big focus on not going too wide on that ground because it's not what we use. It's not how we train.
Yep.
So we tried to keep it nice and tight.
Make the ground smaller.
100%, yeah, because we just knew that's how we play in our ground. So we didn't want to. We knew Red Hill would be really good if we went too wide, so we didn't do that. So Langwarrin, they're a good side. Benny and I had a good chat last time that he was in, and I rate him, and we were able to beat them last time at home. Yeah. I hope our boys can come out firing. They're a good side. I've got a lot of respect for them. And a pretty good list, but it is very different to play on our ground. Yeah. So I just hope that might be our bit of an advantage for us.
Yeah, I think it will be an advantage, and I'm going with Mornington coming off the back of this win. I think there's lots to, one's not good enough. Why not have two?
Yeah. I just think Langy played really good footy for a majority of that game last. I think they might be just a little bit too good for him. But I haven't seen you play this year. But I'm only seeing what I saw last week, and they were pretty good. So Langy for mine.
Sus.
Mornington.
Yeah. Oh, just something different.
Yeah.
Gammers.
I think Langy will be breathing fire. I don't think they want to lose 3 in a row after those first 4, and they really need a win to keep their spot in the 5. So I think that might be enough. But I tell you,
I think it is.
It'll be close.
Yeah, I think it is. And it is a recognising reconciliation round. Pine's going to be taking on a Red Hill Football Netball Club at Eric Bell Reserve. Oh, geez, I don't know. Pines they're gonna come out strong, and I fear for the young side of Red Hill. But I mean, look, they've been known, Mac, haven't they, to stand up when the time comes, and who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, and they'll throw their balls in the middle of the ground again.
Yeah.
That's what they do. And you look at sometimes the way the aggression and slattery in those boys play, and they might be suited possibly to a smaller ground, depending on what the weather's like too.
But when you've got the Pines defenders down there, Jackson, Red Hill struggled to kick goals.
Yeah, Jackson's a real good focal point for them. So if Kane gets Jackson, possibly you bring Kane up the ground a little bit. He probably likes to be nice and deep. So if Jackson, I would play Jackson higher, and McDonald is the other one that can cause you a little bit of trouble over the back. So. Maybe they flip them around this week and look a little bit different. But certainly Jackson, I think, might have kicked possibly 10 this year in a side that hasn't kicked that many. So that's a fair effort from him.
Yeah, it is.
But McDonald caused us a couple of headaches on the weekend. So they had a couple of forwards and then a couple of young Robertson Kay around and those sort of guys around at the heels that can kick goals. So, yeah, the problem will be that is getting that score on the board. So if Pines can they are pretty good, obviously, at Eric Bell. They're probably a better side at home.
Yep.
So it is tougher. If that had been it's a hard one.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see, but I'll watch with interest, obviously.
Yeah, no doubt. Pines for me.
Pines don't lose 2 in a row at Pines.
No, I wouldn't have thought so.
Either.
I wouldn't have thought so. Sus.
Pines, I think, will be a bit physical and show their back on the board.
Gammers.
Will they be sore after the EDS game? Pines? It would have been pretty brutal, I would imagine. I've heard there might be a couple of serious injury concerns with Pines.
Yeah.
So they'll win, but I don't think it'll be the walk in the park that a lot of other people think it might be.
There has been some reports, unconfirmed, of course. It's just speculation at the moment, and that Bo Hendry might have done some damage to his knee. So if that is the case and that's true, then we wish obviously Bo all the best for his recovery. We know that the team is a better team with him in it. So if that is in fact true, then good luck to him with his recovery. The next game is Sorrento taking on Frankston YCW at Dave McFarlane Reserve, and this, boys, it's a little bit similar too. I don't think Sorrento can lose this one, but I think YCW just got too many stars in their team to to let this one go. Commish.
Yeah, I think YC they look complete against Mount Eliza a couple of weeks ago. They got beaten by Rosebud, by the champs. They'll bounce back this week. They'll beat Sorrento.
Yeah, I think they will as well.
Sorrento.
Sus.
YC, yes.
Yeah.
And play very well down at Sorrento as well.
It's a happy hunting ground.
And that is the recognising reconciliation round, of course. Gammers.
Geez, they've picked a great round. This is a cracking round of Div 1
Yeah,
footy,
it is.
isn't it?
It really
we haven't
is.
even got to the selection table game yet.
No, I know.
Frankston YC for me, please.
Yeah, okay. All right, lock that one in, please, Eddie. And speaking of that, and let's thank Toyota of Frankston, Rosebud and Mornington for the selection table match of the round. We have Edithvale taking on Dromana. Well, I mean, the stage is set, let's be honest. Edithvale in form, and Dromana, well, they shot off a couple across the bow to Div 1 competition, and are they in it? And are those players going to be coming soon? And are they going to get any better? But to me, Regents Park's going to be a light. For me, you could really, it's a toss of the coin, I reckon, Macca.
Yeah, I love this game.
Yeah.
I'd actually, if I wasn't coaching, I'd kill this game.
Yeah.
So, no, look, I think, when you look at Dromana, probably over the last, I'm just looking at how many, they've won three in a row. Yeah, I think Dromana, I think this will be a good test for Edie. Yeah. It really would be a good test, but I just think Dromana are building and building and building.
They are.
So, this will be a great game, cracking game. Like some of those big bodies in the middle will, it'll be a great contest.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You've only got to look at their percentages on the ladder. One's 123, one's 124.
Yeah.
Nothing separates these two teams,
No.
clearly. So this is going to be an absolute belter, Gammers.
Huge game. So looking at Edie's results, they've beaten Pines and they've beaten Mount Eliza. They're probably their two notable wins so far. So welcome to the big league this week. I think they can win. It'll be a brutal game. If Dromana can just get on the outside in that tiny little ground, I don't even know how that's a footy ground, to be fair, Regents Park. It is so small.
It's a 9-9 from one
It makes Mornington look like the MCG.
Yeah,
Fair dinkum. And it'll probably be muddy in the middle with the cricket pitch. It's a shocking ground. They play it well. I think Edie might just flex their muscles and win a close one.
The ruck duel will be interesting. The ruck duel will be
Yes.
interesting with a young bloke up against, Billy. And then obviously Vickery's a hard match up too.
You have to say that he normally stands up in these big
Yeah.
games. I reckon he's
Yeah.
good for 4 o'clock on the weekend. It's
Yeah.
meant to be good weather again. It's going to be a forward stay.
And
Look
then
at the
it'll-
history of the finals. He stands up in the big ones.
He
Big
does.
boy.
And then you got Diggins against, the
Diggins, the
boys.
beast.
Like he's he's
And
a
I'd,
beast, so-
I'd expect Gallucci and who was the other one they had out we talked about earlier? Gallucci and someone else. Oh, it'll come back to me. They went full strength last week. So if they get a couple of guys
Pendlebury.
back. Yeah,
Pendlebury,
sorry,
yeah,
Christian.
yeah.
I think Christian, if he's playing and he's fit, he comes back for this one and sets him up like he did last year in our comp, and they're very good behind the ball. I think they win this game and really send a message.
Yeah, I like it, Gammers.
I like that. I like that a lot. That is fantastic. Now, do you know what I bloody forgot again?
I know. I just sent
It
you a
was
little
there
text.
it was there. Oh, did you send me a text? It was there. You bloody did too. It was there in black and white. But boys, I didn't get your selection table from the week that was. So sorry, not selection table. The takeaways. So what did he say? You look good in those colours.
Just looking at what you call him in your phone.
Nipples sus.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So going. We'll just leave that one alone for now. That was from the old RWP days, the old nipples. If we want to know the weather, he's got Siggy butts for nipples. So he would just poke one out the door.
We don't need to know that.
No,
Too
they're-
much information,
they're-
thanks.
They're
Family
uncharacteristically
show. It
large.
doesn't
I've
matter.
never seen anything like it.
Yep.
The surgeons would have struggled.
Takeaways?
So the takeaways, please.
The takeaways. We're at round 7 now.
Yep.
And
Upcoming.
and we mentioned it last week, just before the coach's corner last week. But we mentioned it last week. Is there room for Mount Eliza to fit into the top 6? Seeing this top 6 are doing so well and 2 games clear, so someone has to falter for Mount Eliza to get in. That's my takeaway.
Well, I think they can just look into.
Yes.
They could take both Pines and Langwarren spot.
Yep.
They're
Yes. Yep.
up.
Well, that's true.
Dromana will probably sneak up and finish
It's actually
in there.
pretty
but,
easy, Sus.
it's naturally not that difficult.
No.
But anyway, good.
Langwarren drops out. And,
Jeez.
Dromana, Mandelizer,
Thanks.
Straka.
You've just shot the
it's
takeaways down.
It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy.
They're not getting a sponsor.
Mine's Edithvale Football Club, and they might do a Dromana and go bang bang.
They could.
Yeah.
They could.
Macca?
They're looking like the real deal.
Takeaways for round 6, please.
I'll just jump on Dromana in regards to the fact they've played 6, only won half of them, but they've got a percentage of 124 and they're a scary prospect.
Yes. Yeah.
Like
very good. Commish.
Yeah,
You're all back on the Mandelizer bandwagon?
No, Eddie,
No?
pretty clever for me. It's they're
Yes,
looking
okay.
fantastic.
Very good.
And they only just sort of rolled over the Divi 2 grand final,
Yeah.
and they just fell in there.
Yep.
To be so good in Division 1 and so competitive and right up there, it's scary.
Yeah, it is
I like
scary.
it, though.
No, it's very
It's great
good.
for the comp.
No, it's very, very good indeed. For me, I think I reckon the Pines v Rosebud. I started to question Rosebud. I suppose were they not flat track bullies, but were they the real deal? And I think beating YCW on the weekend by 25, I think they are definitely the real deal. I know, obviously, Brett Whale, McRae, and Danny Aids are very humble, and they are definitely not talking anything. They're just week by week Gammers. But for me, they are the real deal and the team to beat in season 2025.
They look a well-oiled machine, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
All across the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Your takeaways, Gammers?
I'll give Mornington a plug.
Yep.
Look, they've been down the bottom with Red Hill for the early part of the season, and there's a fair bit of talk about this game being a relegation cup game, but they've come out flying colours and they've set themselves up, and hopefully they go back-to-back this week.
I like that a lot.
I do too. Thanks, Gammers. I think it is. It's. I think it's reward for effort. Like I said, over those 3 weeks, we have
absolutely
performed quite well, and we just didn't get the chocolates. And on the weekend, we did. So hopefully that just kicks us off a bit. And,
Exactly.
you know, we it was interesting. We had a bit of a focus around the 4-minute mile and how long it took to break it. And once they broke that 4-minute mile, that story around that is that it kept getting broken and
That's
broken
exactly
and broken
right.
and broken. So we're just talking to our young side about that. And opportunity again this weekend, Slangwarren.
Yep, spot on. Love it. Absolutely love everything of it. That is a wrap for the Division 1 football show. Thanks to Frankston, Mornington and Rosebud Toyota. We're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back with a different sort of looking coach's corner now. The old Commish is back.
And a proper one.
And a proper one.
Well, it was
very proper.
What's a proper one?
It was very
I
proper.
thought last week's was sensational.
It was
Was it?
sensational.
The cone came down.
come
Everything.
It was
Everything.
amazing.
I wasn't here.
It was
Everything was amazing
It was
last
amazing.
week.
Nothing good.
No, it was amazing. But you are listening and watching the Halftime Heroes. We'll be back with Commish and the Coach's Corner.
Nestled on the beautiful Mornington Peninsula, Sharmac Lodge offers a peaceful 6-bedroom retreat in Rye for short-term stays for adults of all ages living with disability or illness. Overnight or day stays are available 7 days a week with tailored care provided around the clock. Guests can also participate in daily activities on the peninsula, making it a perfect getaway. Rest easy knowing your loved one's care is personalised to their needs. Finally, a short-term respite solution that brings peace of mind and can be funded under your home care package or NDIS funding. Book a tour today with the welcoming team at Sharmac Lodge. Visit aftercare.com.au or search Sharmac Lodge today. Let their family help your family.
Welcome back to the Halftime Heroes. I did forget that if you do want to get in touch with the Halftime Heroes, then hit us up at halftimeheroes.mpfnl@gmail.com, or you can get us on Facebook, Instagram, Vimeo, YouTube,
Twitter,
Jeez, we're on X. We're on X.
the whole shooting match. Vimeo, yep.
Yep, absolutely. So, look, the point saga has been absolutely lit up. And again, I'd like to thank the contributors that are Lou Meager. She also sits on the board of the MPFNL and is the amazing president of the fantastic and ever so successful YC Football Netball Club, and to Stewie Gay, who also sits on the MPFNL board as well. So they've been integral, Commish, on filling us in
Very
with the ups and downs and the what would you say, Sus? Is it the legalities, I suppose,
The
to a degree?
machinations of,
The formula.
Yeah,
The
well, it is a little
formula.
bit of a formula. So we are learning week to week. But Commish, as I suppose, this is a segue. But as I introduce you for the Coach's Corner, you've got a little bit of an idea
Well, what I'd like to do, and I want to get the feeling with you two guys to start off with, but I want to try and get together with everyone involved with footy, a bit of a mid-year footy forum, where you might get in the one room, and I'm thinking of Mornington, the Pavilion, upstairs there, say on a Monday night, you might get officials in there, talk about the umpire situation, how we can get that better, how we can get more people interested in umpiring. The presidents, officials, maybe a representative or two from the board, the MPFNL board, and AFL Southeast, and just have a bit of a forum where we can all sit around and hash these things out. The point situation, can it be better? I mean, clearly it can. The cash situation, exactly where that's at, because the feedback we're getting, Adam, is that everyone's a little they're confused.
Yeah, confused.
I wouldn't say upset, but they're confused with the whole thing. There's clearly some sort of breaches within the system that they're allowed to be there, so I guess they're not breaches. But I think to get everyone in one room would be really – now, the question I've got for the family is, would that be supported? Would the club support – would they send a representative along, whether it's a president or a coach, to air their opinions so we can all talk about it in the one room? Because after all, we own the game.
That's right.
If we're not paying out $12 at the gates to get in, no one's going. There is no game. So to have 4 or 5 or half a dozen people run it and tell us what to do is great, because we still need that, but they probably need the feedback as well. And rather than just negativity the whole time, if we get together and we can talk about it as a group and as a family, you never know, we might come to a resolution somewhere. So that's sort of my spin. I just want to keep going from the conversation we had a month or so ago about the points, and because it's pricked interest, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has.
And I got a phone call from Paddy Swain. Paddy's an intelligent guy, and we spoke for. I was freezing me balls off on the back for Andy to go on to finish, but Paddy would talk forever, but he had to go into school, thank goodness. I think he's a print, isn't he? Teacher?
No, secondary teacher.
Yeah.
No, just a notch below you.
Couple of notches.
But he's got some great ideas of what could happen. But we need to get ideas like that in the one room. For me, it's really important, because if we do nothing, nothing will happen. And we'll just continually get this feedback that we don't do anything with, really, other than we talk about, we get feedback.
Yep.
But let's get it in one room, and let's get a forum going.
And even if we pull one good idea out.
Correct.
That's right.
Sus. But what I want to know, Adam, is from the family and from the response we're getting is, would it be supported by the clubs?
Well, if it's not, then I don't think there's any, I suppose, point. I think each club would have to buy in. With either a president and or a senior coach, and I think they would have to bring a list of their concerns and questions and whatnot. Definitely the representation from the MPFNL board and representation from obviously AFL Southeast, and then what I would like to see is a representative Gammers from AFL Vic. Because let's be honest, AFL Southeast, they do a great job in administering the competition, but that is all they do. They only administer it. So they make sure that there's the ticket person at each game, and that's their job. Yeah. AFL Vic, they're responsible for, so I suppose the rules and regulations around how to administer the league. So I think they would have to be there. But I really do think that there is, I reckon this is a possibility.
Yeah, well, I just can't see why we can't make that happen. I know back when I was coaching, there's still coaches gatherings. There was a number of, in 2018-19, there was a number of nights ran by AFL Southeast, or there was a coaching group.
Yeah, there has been. There's
start of the year.
Yeah, start of the year. Yeah, there was.
Yeah,
you get an invite, obviously, to them. It's just whether you can get there or not. But they do have them. They used to have them probably more.
They did.
They don't have as many.
And it's hard. Like, we are asking local coaches to do a lot. So I'm supporting you here. Yeah. My take on it is, I actually spoke to Ricky Johnson about this probably 2023.
Right.
Had a lot of good ideas fresh into the comp. Like, we should do this, we should do that. I think if you're going to have a forum, I think it has to start with the coaches. That's my personal view. And I'll tell you why. I think we all have our own views on the points and the salary cap, and not all of them are right. But I think the coaches can solve a lot of issues. They can solve some of the umpire issues as well. How do we get overflow players into umpiring?
Yep.
If you get presidents into the room, they're presidents for different reasons. Like, we've got a great president, but they'll have different priorities to, say, maybe Hastings president and so on. The coaches should all want to grow the game, and I think the coaches have a really good holistic understanding of players coming through their system. You know, like we've got an issue at our club now where we've got too many players for 3 teams.
Yeah.
How do we keep those players employed?
Yeah,
do we send them to another club? Do we encourage them to get into umpiring? What do we actually do with them?
Yeah.
So I think if you can get the coaches into the same room, you can solve more than just one issue. But you've got to make it worthwhile for the coaches to come. So I don't want to bag out the MPFNL day they do at the race course, but I didn't go this year. I went in 2024 and I thought, I know all this.
Yeah.
So you've got to make it enticing. There's got to be a reason for someone to say to their wife and their kids, hey, I'm actually going to spend a third night this week on footy. It's got to be, you've got to be able to value add. So you've got to sell that to the coaches, because what do we do if we don't have one coach in the room? Let's say one club goes, no, I'm not going. Do we still have the meeting? Has it still got integrity? So we really got to sell it and get everyone there, and we can talk about a whole heap of issues. Like, I don't want to go too long with this, but I would love there to be some kind of coaches association. Like, I know we're asking again and again, but it could be it could just be a chat group where, you know what, this chat group's about growing the game. I noticed this problem. Have you got this problem at your club? How do you deal with this? What do you do here? Yeah. We just share ideas because I don't think any of us are sworn enemies. Yeah, we might have had some words over the journey, but we're all doing this job.
It's all the heat of the battle, isn't it?
We're doing this job because we love the game.
Yeah.
We love seeing young men, sometimes older men, get better and achieve what they want to achieve. We all want the same thing. We just go about it different ways.
And Gammers, for the most part, and I'm talking most part, you know, there's a mutual respect between all coaches within this competition.
Yep.
And that's the good part. So I think you make some real valid points, and I think I reckon you'd get just about all the coaches involved in that.
Yeah.
It's a matter of making it happen. But you know, we all shake hands after the battle at the end, and you know, I think that's a really important part of it. You know, we're only sort of chatting about that off air earlier about how, you know, I didn't know Danny Aids and met him recently, and we had a chat after the game. They smashed us, but you know, went over, shook his hand, and made sure congratulated him, wish him the best for the season. And I think that if we all got in the same room and had those conversations, I think it'd be pretty good banter.
Yeah,
good banter.
Well, we need to get that going on. We need that to happen.
I think that's the first step of it. I reckon the issues that you're throwing up, Neil, they're all valid, but I don't think they get solved in one meeting.
No, there's no way. But you just need to.
But you have to start it from a football perspective, I reckon, and then you get it into the administration part.
Okay.
You're looking at me. You're looking at me like I've just turned into Brad Pitt or something.
I always look at you like that.
It'd be interesting to at least have representation for, say, the Umpires Association, at least there, so they can talk to their problems.
I spoke to Russell
Davidson.
Davidson.
They might sort it out. They might go, well, you know, that makes perfect sense.
I spoke to Russell Davidson on the weekend. Who's at our game? Get along with him really well. He would love that.
Yeah, there you go.
Like they're facing their own issues that they would love support on.
And that's right, Gammers, because at the end of the day, like we I know you guys don't so much, but Sus and I predominantly manage the mail that we get through all the revenue streams, all the avenues and whatnot, and we've got like legitimate coaches and presidents coming in and even supporters going, I actually don't understand how the points work, and that's coaches who should be across this by the, you know, apparently everything needs to be in a week before round one.
Yeah.
Coaches don't even know that.
Yeah.
So I just think, look, maybe, and then I suppose getting back to how do you sell it? Like, how do you sell it to the coaches? How do you sell it to the coaches that are already, you know, doing, you know, reviews and upcoming Oppo work and all this shit that, you know, comes with coaches that adds another 30 hours a week to what you're already doing. You've got 18 jobs, so how do you sell it?
It's probably an off-season thing.
Yeah.
Potentially. I don't know how that works for other people. I don't have an off-season by choice doing the AFLW stuff, but I feel like you got to give the coaches a break. Some coaches are more burnout than others. So get them in their off-season. So you give yourself space to have another meeting, and then it's probably another meeting and maybe a fourth meeting where you bring all those different ones together. Get your club presidents in there, get your coaches in there, get your football manager in there.
Yeah.
And actually just start sorting some of these things
It's
out.
probably even football manager over president, really, isn't it? Because
for a points issue, I think, when you start talking about money, and I mean, football manager is super important for the money side of things as well, but your presidents they're actually running football netball clubs.
Yes, that's right.
So they're not all consumed in the football side.
Yeah.
Well, I know at our club we're not. We're sharing. You share the responsibility as evenly as you can. So it's a football problem to me. To start with,
I guess you don't want to get 500 disgruntled people in the one room. It's not going to work.
Which I think that's potentially what that Melbourne Racing Club thing may have been turning into.
So we need to pick out 2 or 3 of the really hot topics. I mean, obviously umpiring is right up there, isn't it? And getting the good umpires through and that sort of stuff. I mean, we can talk about cash all you like, but no one's going to sit there and say, "Well, we spent 30 grand."
Yeah,
more.
exactly.
You don't expect that out of that. But
you get them there. I don't think. And I'm not saying they've got heaps of money, but you don't get them there with cut sandwiches and raffling off a St Kilda jumper. Maybe you make it a 2-course dinner or something worthwhile where people go, you know what, I'll actually go and have a look at that and I'll give it my best. Yeah. You can't just expect people to turn up these days. It's not the generation we live in.
I like your thinking too. The other thing I was saying before is you don't always. I only met Biddy the other day for the first time. Biddy and I hadn't met before, and I'm sure there'll be good admiration for each other after the game, whatever the result. But when you were talking just before about when, it could be the first one could be the week of a bye.
I was thinking that
like
too,
I don't think it's the off season because you don't know who the coaches are.
Yeah.
There's like a raffle these days. Who's going to be coaching?
And because generally in a bye week, so you've got 4 training sessions prior to your game. We often give our coaches a night off. So whether it's myself and Josh taking one night each, or our assistant coaches, we say we don't want to see you for the week. We're going to take this week. But it could be just one of those nights where you put it back on the leadership group and say you take training. The coaches are going to a coaches night. So that's an option, I think.
Yeah.
Great.
But so all I want is some feedback from the family to see if that's not a bad idea or that's a shit idea and we might model with that, or we think that's got legs, and from there we can take it.
Yep.
But we just need to get that feedback. Say, look, let's get this going, because if nothing happens, nothing happens.
Yeah. As the preferred media outlet of the MPFNL, Sus, you would suggest that we could stream it for those that can't come, and
definitely,
definitely do something in that space as well. But I think you raise a very valid point, and just as a media outlet ourselves, we get bombarded each and every week with questions. So I think, and it's not just from the Halftime Hero family; it's predominantly from coaches and admin from clubs and whatnot.
And it's other leagues that are looking to us as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know the Northern Football League is huge fans of the Halftime Heroes. Hello, boys. And
you should get Macca to do that.
Well, hello.
There might be some Tukaruk.
There might be some Tukaruk, some parents. Well, hello, kiddies. Hello.
But Adam, not for a minute do we want to take over from the work that AFL Southeast are doing. We don't want to do that.
Oh, God,
we just want to get people in the one room to
administrators.
be a voice take back to them.
Yeah.
And so the people who've spoken here, look, this is what we're after. Can we make this happen?
Well, the board, the MPFNL board, Commish is very good at saying, we'll know that, and rightfully so, that the AFL Southeast are there to administer the game. And but the AFL board, along with the 22 presidents, are very much responsible for the everyday running of our competition.
Yeah, okay. So with the MPNFL board, when's the last time anyone heard from the MPNFL board?
Maybe last week.
I will say I've had face-to-face with a board member numerous times over the last couple of weeks.
With a member?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Macca?
No, not really. We've spent a little bit of time on the points, obviously lately, just in regards to us being so close with a couple of our guys that have had some MOUs, obviously, with other clubs. So probably in regards to the board, not me, but my football manager, yes.
Yes. Yeah. Which is the role and responsibility. So as far as I know, thanks again, Stuart Gay and to Lou Mega, but it is the responsibility of the club to then go to the board, and then the board brings it to then the AFL Southeast, and then they're the only ones that can alter points and review points, and if there's a discrepancy or anything like that, AFL Southeast are then with, I would assume, AFL Vic Sus overseeing the whole sort of system. That's how that works. So we are getting, because of the conversations that we've been having over the last month, Commish, we are getting some clarity, which is very good. But I think you raise a very valid point. So if you do want to get in touch, and again, I will say, email us at halftimeheroes.mpfnl@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on Facebook Messenger, which a lot of our stuff sort of comes through. So if you do like the idea, I think it's go for it. I think it's very, very good. Well done to you.
Thank you.
It's very good, although
Very nice.
you've lost some brain cells over this last week just looking after the grandbabies.
God, I'm exhausted.
Bluey, how's he going? Is he all right?
Oh, they watch Blippy. This bloody
Blippy.
bloke with lawnmowers and things.
What's Blippy?
Look it up.
It's a blip. That
Yeah,
last
it's a
week's been
complete
nothing but a
on the radar,
blip.
It is, but
No.
So, Adam,
Yes.
serious
Yeah.
question.
Yes.
I
Jesus.
think this could be the second best coach's corner we've had. How do you rate it?
Second.
Second best?
Yeah.
You know what comes to mind? Last week's.
Last week.
Last week's was amazing.
It was amazing.
Intriguing.
It was intriguing. Well, the
I'll tell
Halftime
you,
Hero family, they
if
got
it
a
was
lot
so
out of
good,
it.
You can do it.
I reckon
That good. Sus? You can take it.
Oh, I love
You're
it.
okay tonight.
I reckon they're
Macca?
playing you because I like the video one when he took a phone call halfway through it.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, that was really good. That was really good.
No, that was
nice.
very
It's a
good.
very
Well, that was again a very good coach's corner. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with the Division 2 football show. You're listening and watching the Halftime Heroes.
Nestled on the beautiful Mornington Peninsula, Sharmac Lodge offers a peaceful 6-bedroom retreat in Rye for short-term stays for adults of all ages living with disability or illness. Overnight or day stays are available 7 days a week with tailored care provided around the clock. Guests can also participate in daily activities on the peninsula, making it a perfect getaway. Rest easy knowing your loved one's care is personalised to their needs. Finally, a short-term respite solution that brings peace of mind and can be funded under your home care package or NDIS funding. Book a tour today with the welcoming team at Sharmac Lodge. Visit aftercare.com.au or search Sharmac Lodge today. Let their family help your family.
Welcome back to the Halftime Heroes. Well, off air, we just named the review that's going to happen. What do you want to call it?
It's going to be called the Health Check Football Forum.
The Health Check Football
We're checking the
Forum
health of
for
our game.
season 2025.
There's concerns.
There are concerns. There's
I hear the rugby league's huge now with the success of Melbourne Storm and juniors. I mean, it's grown a league. So soccer and rugby league, we're up against it, folks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Basketball.
Basketball,
huge.
junior basketball.
Soccer's dropped off, thank God.
Tell you what,
just a little bit.
my Vic 12s, we had 950 register for my Vic 12s though.
You're
Yeah.
shitting me.
That's our record, 950.
Wow.
To pick 23, by the way.
Jeez, good luck.
Good luck with that. Yeah. Sounds like Mount Eliza.
Yeah. That was just Mount Eliza Junior Football Club. That was all them just to register.
Right by there, Gammers. Good on you, mate.
No worries, mate.
And we're doing the Division 2 footy show right now. Isn't that good?
Oh, yeah, it's great. I've been looking forward to this all weekend.
Oh, Jesus, you got to open with that game, haven't we?
Absolutely. Well, beautiful segue because let's jump straight into the Division 2 football show thanks to Frankston, Mornington and Rosebud Toyota, the new sponsors of the Halftime Heroes in 2025. And it's an absolute pleasure to have you on board. We are all the better for it. And if you do want to get involved with the Halftime Heroes and promote your business or your club or whatever you want to do, just hit us up. We're not necessarily even after any money. Well, that's a lie. That's very.
Why did you say that?
No, just a little bit. Just a little bit to improve what we do here, but more importantly, and actually, I was last week, boys. It was remiss. Rosebud celebrated their past premiership players on the weekend, and it alludes me to Macca, and I was thinking about it over the weekend, and this is a shout out to all our 22 clubs. If you do have an event that is coming up, both Somerville, Mornington, Mount Eliza, and the rest of them, make sure you let us know because we can actually talk to it and say it's coming up and get your tickets online or whatever. Like there's Ladies' Day, there's all these
They're not
events.
hard to promote, are they?
No, exactly right. But again, clubs and administrators of the clubs, we need your input. We're here to help. We're not charging you anything to manage socials or anything like that. We don't want any money out of you. We just want to help you as a club. And therefore, if we can help promote your sponsors to improve their buck to go a little bit further, then we're more than willing to do that. Again, we're not it's nothing to send an email and say, hey, we've got actually, this event coming up that we'd love for you guys to mention. So there's no harm in that, Gammers. And I thought that was important to mention. Let's get straight into the Division 2 football show. The first game that was round 6, and it was played out on Saturday the 17th. Bomb Beach taking on Hastings. We weren't sure, Gammers, were we, how this one was going to end up, but 67 points, that's how it ended up. Bomb Beach come to play football at Bomb Beach Reserve, 115 played. Hastings 7-6-48. We did question what Kev Lilac was going to do, and he could have done everything, but he didn't do enough in the end.
Well, I think he's doing a fair bit down there, Adam. Like, he's got them competitive. Like, 67 points, is that competitive? I think it is from where they were last year. And it says a bit about Bomb Beach now. This is probably as good as they've looked since they've come back to our division. 2 weeks in a row where they've had 30-plus scoring shots. So it took them the first month to get going, but now they are really going, Bomb Beach, and could be a sneaky chance to slip into the 5 come season's end.
Yeah, I don't mind that game. When you look at their best players there, you got they played with 19 one-pointers, I think, if my maths is correct. And it was they've got a couple of guys there with multiple points, but it was mainly in the best of their one-point players. That's fantastic.
Ben McLean, Jack Sullivan, Joseph Fisher, Thomas McKinley, and Braden Chappell, and they played with 32 points out of available 45. And for Hastings, it was Patrick Wilson, Jack Slocum, Reece Grange, Lilac, and Jake Hewitt, Sean Hewitt. Reece Grange, Lilac. Does anyone want to shed some light on that?
He's played every game. I think he's played up and down this season, but he was playing.
Yeah, well, that's where I'm sort of going with it.
Maybe.
Is it? Yeah.
I'm not sure.
No, not sure either. 42 out of the 46 was Hastings Football and Netball Club. The next game to take the field was Crib Point taking on Pearsdale Football Netball Club at Crib Point Recreation Reserve. I'm sorry to say, Sus, Pearsdale too strong in the end, 14-10-94 played. Crib Point 11-8-74.
But very, very close half-time. Cribby up by a couple of points. And then three-quarter time just down by 13 and just let it slip. So just got to ping the 4 quarters together, Cribby, but they're on the right track.
No, they are on the right track. And
battle of forwards there.
Yeah.
Farmer, ex-Collingwood, kicking 5 up one end. Brett Eddy kicking 7 up the other end with Cruz West kicking 3. So it would have been good to watch the spectacle of those forwards.
A bit of talent there, isn't it?
Well, you are quite fond of both teams, aren't you?
Yeah, I've liked Pearsdale for a while and how deep they are, and I've got a soft spot for Cribby. So it would have been a pretty good game. And like Sus just said, on at half time. So that third, they look like they just broke them open.
Absolutely. 2 points at half time. What a ball game to come out to it and take on the third quarter, Gammers.
Yeah, Pearsdale slick unit. Crib Point, they grow another leg down there at Cribby, which we'll find out this week. I've seen Pearsdale up close, and at our best, I think it was a 2-point win to Pearsdale. So that is a great effort from Cribby, especially at the start of the game, to be in front. So it shows their best football stacking up. Just got to do it for 3-4 quarters, not just the 2.
No, that's right.
Yeah, good step in the right direction.
Absolutely. Best for Cribby was Daniel Farmer, Will Stewart, Kane Tyrrell, Aidan Phillips and Ryan Smith, and they played with a 35 out of 44. And for Pearsdale, it was Brett Eddy, Luke Daniel, Hugh Jones, Bailey Gent and Shane Davidson Commish.
Looks like a race in 3, doesn't it? Frankston Bombers, Devon and Pearsdale. Look like they're 4 or 5 goals better than anyone else below them. Then it goes down to Seaford. But just looking at the ladder, Adam, I know we'll go back to that, but it's there's a breakaway group at the peloton, and it's they look pretty handy.
Very
find it out.
Very handy. The next game was Frankston Bombers taking on Tyab at Baxter Park, 17-20, 122 played. Tyab 5-5-35, going down by 87 points. That's a tough
27
loss.
More scoring shots. That's a whooping.
Yeah, it is an absolute whooping, isn't it?
Yeah, it looked like it started early there, doesn't it?
Yeah,
5-4 to 1 point.
5-4. Yep.
It's hard to come back from that.
Yeah, it is. It is. In the best for Frankston was Spencer Robertson, Brodie Smith, Matt Robinson, Jai Block and Bailey Welsh. And they played with 38 out of a 43 available. And for Tyab, it was David Grudis, Nick Keegan, Ryan Marks Logan, Andrew Brown and Corey Buchan. Sus, your either sitting on something quite painful or you want to say something?
I was just looking there. Tyab 42 out of 45 points, and just coming up with that.
Yeah.
It's we're hoping for more from them. So, but something's got to give.
They've got a lot of 3-point players, don't
They
they?
do.
Nick Keegan.
It's a real transient lot. Pretty frustrating at times.
Yeah.
But, we need to get some representation from them in here.
Jimmy
Talk about their footy
Jimmy
club.
Freeman scoreless.
Yeah. No,
So we had a chat about this at our footy club that when we've talked about Tyab, they've got injuries. Like
Yeah.
I've been talking to their coach a little bit throughout the season. Our twos team on the weekend was 10 points higher than our senior team. So sometimes when you have injuries at a club like a Tyab, sometimes it's inflated, but it's not inflated to make you better. And I used the example last year. We played Seaford, I think, round 6, and we had 17 injuries on our list, and we played at 41 points and got done by 4 goals.
Yeah.
So sometimes it doesn't quite add up the points. That's where it's a little bit skewy.
Yeah. Tyab
One
2's
for the
got beat by
forum.
87 points.
One for the forum.
It's not, exactly.
One for the forum.
Like
Karingal took on Chelsea Football Netball Club at home. Karingal Football Recreation Reserve. Chelsea getting the job done there by 76 points, 18-15, 1-2-3, played 7-5-47. Looking at that, Commish, I mean, 7-5.
Yeah, it's improved.
It's improved, hasn't it?
Incremental little improvements by the week, Karingal. They've got a long way to go. But let's hope they can retain players for next year and be a bit more of a force. But at Chelsea, they played a good mob.
Yeah.
On a good day, and they're slick and hard at it. And they ain't going to go anywhere this year, Chelsea.
For Karingal, the best was Callan Dixon, Lewis Barber, Jake Push, Lachlan Cowell and Taylor Valentine, and they played with 34 out of a 44 available. And for Chelsea, it was Jack Wallace, Anthony Beale, Todd Gardner, superstar, Jared Ardern and Zane Carter, and they played with 42 points out of an available 42 Sus.
Toddy Gardner there, picking up a lonely 29 possessions, so doing very well. So
It's going from strength to
Gammers,
strength.
that side, so you know Chelsea better than I do.
Yeah.
I watched them through the final series, and we all know what happened in the grand final. So they could have easily been in Div 1.
Yes.
Obviously, when we look at EASP, they deserve to be in Division 1 when we look at their results. But what this side, if you look at their side that's out there, at a guess, just flicking through it, how many of them played in that grand final? Looks like a fair few of them.
Yeah, they've kept their list together, really. Like when we played them, was it last week? A couple of weeks ago. Yeah, very, very settled lineup. I think they've lost a couple, and they lost Struve, which was their ruck. He went somewhere. And I think they've got a couple of injuries down back. So I think Lord's not playing. Oh, no, Lord played. Zibarus.
Yep.
Lex, I believe he's done a season-ending knee injury.
Right.
And there was one other that we scoped. So it is quite a settled lineup. I don't think they're anywhere near firing near their best.
That's my
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
That's my question.
Josh
Because
House has gone there.
Obviously,
He's
they
handled
were
it,
pretty handy last year, and Josh also. But Dustin's obviously a super player. Jordan Kelly's really good. Jesse Davies, very good player. Zane Carter, Todd Gardner. I mean, backs and Knight. I got to know these guys through the final series because I didn't know a lot about them, too much about them. But I just sort of thought they'd kept that side pretty well.
So
together.
I think Dustin's close to the best player in Div 2. He'd definitely be the best big man. He looked really sore against us, so I don't know if they're just getting him through at the moment. And he was playing forward. I mean, he was the best centre-half back in the
he was.
comp.
He was
so
last year. Yeah.
they're credit to them. They're obviously experimenting with a couple of things going, well, we're close. Well, how can we get that one little bit better to go one step further? So,
And if you can hang up near the top of the ladder and experiment,
it's
all
credit to you.
Yeah,
some of us would dream about that. But the strength of their list is the amount of ex-VFL talent and ex-Oven and Murray's league talent they have on that list. There'd be 10 plus. And they all do the same thing, run off halfback, go through the midfield and accumulate possessions. They're good enough to starve you a possession with their skills, and they're also good enough to just blitz you when they want to go. So they're a tough team to beat.
Yep.
So we'd expect a fairly strong second half of the year.
I'm adding Chelsea to the three
to
that
the
you said.
mix?
I
Really?
think
Okay. Yeah,
Seaford are unproven. I think Devon are still a touch unproven.
Yeah.
I think I've got Chelsea ahead of them.
So they're one win off third spot. So Chelsea 1 win off third spot.
Yep.
If you have a look at that, that's obviously depending on what happens above them. But then seeded draw 2 though. So Chelsea will have the harder draw.
Yeah.
Correct.
Compared to Seaford.
For the first time in a long time,
Yeah.
the draw's been that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that, because I mean, Division 1 we played twice.
It's a good point, actually.
How funny is it? The 6th and 8th have the 2 hardest draws, and one's really finding it tough.
Yes.
Well,
not for you to do it, was it?
A perfect segue.
Beautiful
Gammers.
segue.
Beautiful segue there. You're absolutely learning.
Up and about.
The next game, we saw Somerville hosting Rye Football Netball Club at Somerville Recreation Reserve, 8-14-62. Not getting the job done over Rye Football Netball Club. Well done to Rye, 12-6-78, going down by 16 points. Your mob, Gammers. Mate, you come in and you've owned every bit of it. In a nutshell, just run through, I suppose, what happened.
Well, first of all, credit to Rye. That's not false either.
No. No,
2
you're
wins
huge
this year, and
you've absolutely come out on record and said that you and Maury have gotten close, and you talk probably weekly, and you knew it was going to be a battle. But mate, from all reports, you won every stat there was to win.
Yeah, we've been doing a bit of that lately. Look, it was a game of very little defence, probably in the first half, and I think the scores reflect that. At halftime, it was 7-9 to 7-4 our way. So there's a lot of scoring shots there. Like if you're having 16 shots to 11, there's not a real lot of defence being played. And then in the second half, Rye really come out after halftime. And look, we've been pretty down over the last few weeks. There's no secret about that. So we didn't over celebrate anything at halftime, but we were happy that we were scoring because that's been our issue. And then we couldn't score after halftime, and Rye put us to the sword. The rain started to come down, and we just made some really silly errors.
Gave it back to them a bit too easily.
Yeah, well, like you said, we won. This is the 3rd week in a row we've won inside 50s, clearance, disposal, and we've had more scoring shots than our opposition and lost. So it's been a real riddle for the coaches and the leaders to go, well, a lot is actually working. We just can't score for long enough, and we can't put it through the big sticks. So, yeah, we got work to do, but credit to Rye, they're just not the opposition that they have been for the last 2 to 3 years. Like, I put a hell of a lot of time into them this week, and I told the boys, I said, hey, watch the edits because they'll come to play, and we look vulnerable at the moment. So that's the part. When you lose a few games as a side that everyone expected to be near the top, like they come for you. Like Crew Point will be looking at us going, hey, we're the next ones to take a bite out of them now. Like, let's kick them while they're down. So that makes it even harder for us, and we've just got to be better and keep working at our processes. We potentially get a couple of good cattle back this week, which helps, but it's definitely not the excuse. We should be better than what we are, and we've got to get to work.
So, Gammers, if you restructured your front 7 with front 6 or 7 with Sharpie not there, has there been a restructure?
I've been asked this question a lot. It's probably more the other end.
Okay.
So
defensively,
Sharpie's only played like 7 or 8 games for me in 2 years. Like it's a bit of a false. So year 1, 2023, he broke his eye socket against Tybe, missed 10 games.
Yeah, I saw that.
So we actually did really well with him in 2023 to get to where we got to. And then he was VFL last year. We barely saw him. So I haven't had him to not have him. Kane's probably the one. So we always had that safety blanket down back if we lost stoppage or, teams get out the front on us. Now we're relying on others to do that job, and we just haven't quite worked it out yet. So when teams go forward on us, they are tending to maximise their opportunities, and at the moment we're not doing that when we go forward. So, yeah, it's a bit of a double-edged sword.
Yeah, sure.
Doing plenty right, so that's the tough part. I'll cop the criticism, but
the tough part.
Doing plenty right and just not quite getting the results at the moment.
Marshall blind forward, or you got him on ball?
Was his 100th game on the weekend. Thanks for bringing him up. Yeah,
great effort.
He's had 2 really good games. Playing him as a forward at the moment, we did get him in the middle for short patches in the second half, but it's not really our problem. It's how we're going into inside 50 is our issue. And we know that. We haven't got a big key forward to take marks. We're hoping to welcome back 2 key forwards this week, so hopefully that changed their fortunes.
And looking at your development side too, they're 400%. So have you?
It's a riddle, isn't it?
Well, it is. You spoke,
It really
you
is.
spoke just before about points and that issue and that. And I think you said maybe you were 10 over. Do you say you were 10 over your
We
season?
would have, our twos team would have played on 41 points on the weekend.
Yeah.
We play, I think, what's our senior team at? You got it there. It'd be close to 30.
30. It is 30.
Yeah.
It's 30 on that.
30 and 31.
Given having been in Division 2 before, and I feel like the gap between playing Division 2 reserves into Division 2 seniors is a lot closer than playing Division 1 reserves into Division 1 seniors. There's a big leap in that one.
Yep.
So you must have a little bit of talent sitting in that reserve side for them to be just belting sides. 400%. They're belting sides.
Yeah, that's huge.
I think what we're finding is we've got a lot of the same player. We've got a lot going off the edges and we've got a lot going through the middle. We just, with Mason going out, we play Mason as a forward and that's how we train the whole pre-season. Well, he hurt his back in the first round. We nursed him through the second one. Then he does his hammy in the third one. So we've really missed that. We've trained with Tom Roberts on the track most of the year.
Yeah.
He's extremely close. So you put those two back into our side and we did drop a key back. So we had a key back that had a lot of goals scored on him. And we didn't drop him because he was doing anything necessarily wrong. It's just he was so low on confidence. We couldn't find a pattern to how he was defending. So we dropped him this week. And it would have been the week where he probably would have had a great game. It's always the way.
Yeah, it is.
And we've also got another key back in Lockie Saunders who should come back. So we're looking at the season going, I think I've said this to you off air a lot. We need to stay relevant till the halfway mark of the season. So I've been saying that since the start.
And have a good couple of months.
At the moment, that's not working. So we've got to find a way to win a couple of games so that we are relevant.
Yeah. Can you? I guess Rye getting that win against you guys, which I think is a tremendous win, especially at your ground. I see Ed Green is in their best. Can you tell us a little bit about him? Because he's the brother of.
He is the brother of.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
mate,
he is.
He's got some swagger. And he would love me saying that. We gave him our 6-pack for best on. We scoped him out. He's probably a bit bigger than his brother. Lead up, key forward, really good kick of the football, long range goals, gives it to the crowd. I think he kicked the sealer and had a few words to say to the corporate box up on the hill there, as
Is that a corporate box, isn't it?
Oh, it looks, it's been done up.
It has.
You know,
It looks an
corporate.
absolute treat.
if you ever make your way over to
container.
Western Port side, you remember that? Yep. Okay.
Thanks to our Bowens too, may I add.
Yeah,
Yes.
Bowens have done some work on the corporate
Okay.
box, so it's
Righto.
quite nice in there now.
Okay.
Yeah, they've got enough weapons, Rye. When you look at
Yeah.
Edward Green, Brady Egan,
Hughesy.
well,
the little
Hughes.
junkyard. Brady
no.
Egan was jumping over our players. He had 4 goals at quarter time.
Jeez.
It just looked like the Brady Egan show. So they've got enough talent there to really build. And what more he's doing with them, they've got
Robbins.
the Barnes.
Campbell Robbins can play.
He sure can.
Right.
The Barneses are like the Gertzes.
Yes.
There's a million of them. And then the one that probably hurt us, and I knew really early in the week that Taj Campbell-Farrell would come back from Frankston,
Yeah, he's a good player.
and that changed everything. He just dominated out of the middle. So,
Sonny. Yep.
Sonny's the brother. Taj is number 2.
Oh, yep. Thank you. Taj,
And
yep.
Sonny's quite handy himself.
We did want Rye to come on tonight, didn't we?
Yes, we
As
did.
representation, and they couldn't find their way here, unfortunately.
No, a little bit disappointing.
That won't be the last game they win this year.
No.
Yeah,
And look,
they
I mean, we've been wanting to, Gammers, and you can say hand on heart that we've been talking about Rye a fair bit. I'm, a huge advocate of Rye and Rye Football Netball Club, and have a lot of contacts down there. And I did reach out to the club, and in particular Maury and Beerley. And I understand that Maury couldn't come on, but I'm still waiting for a message to say when he can come on. So if Rye, if you are listening, doesn't necessarily have to be Maury. If you're a bit camera shy, I get it. But we'd love a representative from Rye Football Netball Club to come on,
I might
Macca.
even chat to Kane Eagles. He loves getting behind
Yeah,
the
well,
camera, so
Kane does,
I'll,
and that's
I'll
well,
be in
Kane.
touch. I'll be in touch.
Beerley did say that Kane might come on, so but I haven't heard anything yet. So if you can make that happen, that'd be great, because we do want to get around, as I mentioned, all our clubs.
For sure.
Just quickly, the best for Summy was Daniel Marshall, Birdo, Luke Burton, Jack Maroney, Geordie Haight, Geordie Hayter and Lockie Gilrenoof, and they played with 30 out of 42, as mentioned previously. And for Rye, it was Eddie Green, Billy Swain, Justin Barnes, Peter Hampton, and Brady Egan, and they played with 31 out of 46.
Brady
so
Hampton, still
very
going.
even.
Still Mornington boy.
Yeah.
Just runs.
Very
There wasn't
reliable.
fences around the ground. He just kept running.
I reckon he would.
He's that sort of a
He's still
bloke.
handy.
He's that sort of a bloke. He'd
Still
finish up in
handy.
Sydney or something.
Yep.
And the next game was thanks to Toyota of Frankston, Mornington and Rosebud. It was the selection table match of the round, and it looked a little bit like this. Seaford taking on a gallant Devon Meadows, going down by 32 points at RF Miles Recreation Reserve. Devon Meadows too strong in the end, 9-16-70 played. 5-8-38. They were obviously very good because I think I tipped Seaford, and but yeah, still, I mean, Rowan, thank you again, a fan of the show, and unconfirmed yet, but he will be coming on in the next couple of weeks. Rowan Bleeker, the senior coach of Seaford Football Netball Club, to tell us a little bit more, Gammers, because we don't know too much about Seaford, and we want to know more.
Well, this game is the growing pains of coming from where Seaford have come from to where they want to go.
Yeah.
Like, you look at the best players for both teams, all their good players played well.
Yep.
So there's not really any excuses there. Devon are just more mature and a better side at the moment, clearly. And I've seen Seaford, haven't played them yet, played against Devon, and they were we probably underestimated Devon with some of the talent that went out of their side, but the talent they've brought in is exceptional.
And you're putting Hillis, Koo, Williams, and
it's not bad. It's not bad, is it?
Joey Hillis.
There's a lot of good players there not there as well.
And I think Joel has just in the last 3 weeks really hit his straps.
From all reports I've heard that he absolutely come out and played a blind on the weekend.
Yeah, and you say Dussin about the best in the comp. Hillis is
How he's not playing Division 1 footy.
Yeah.
No, it's madness, isn't it?
So he was close to playing VFL this year. He did a lot of the preseason at Casey. Yeah. I don't know.
He goes up
happened
north.
there.
He plays up in Darwin.
He plays Waratahs. Yeah.
For the best in Seaford, it was Ryan Jacobs, William Kennedy, Damien Race, and Tom White, Benjamin Carroll, and they played with 35 out of a 44 available. And for Devon Meadows, it was Jolie Hillis, that man, Jack Wilson, Ryan Koo, Kai Williams, and Nick Battle. Apparently late, Dean Kent went down and played half forward and absolutely just ripped shit apart.
Makes you wonder too. When you look at the scores, they kicked 1-6 in the second quarter. So whether it obviously probably was a bit wet all over the place a little bit in the weekend. So they were 3-10 to 3-3 at half time. So 7 more scoring shots. They're probably spewing a bit. Like you're a goal up at half time, but possibly most
I know,
likely
they
have
were in
been
touch,
play,
weren't they? Yeah.
And then being able to go on with it. Your sides can lose from there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
100%.
And they did.
I reckon Seaford would have learned a lot from that, though.
Yeah.
They're a developing club, and they look like it's some vision there. And you're right, spot on, Gammers.
Absolutely.
Welcome to the big
And
big
look, a
boys.
shout out to Damien Ryson. Like, I think he's nearly my age. He's a great fella, firefighter. I've had a bit to do with him with defence and emergency services footy. Absolute ripper. So to see him in the best, fantastic effort at his age.
No, very good. What's that, Sus?
The takeaways.
Yeah, the takeaways, absolutely.
Jeez, we weren't missing him
No,
again, were we?
no,
Jeez,
no, he was right there.
Jittery over there.
Yeah, he was. Div 2 football show. What was round 6, please? Chief, what are your takeaways?
Probably the foundation, probably Bond Beach sitting in the 5.
Yeah.
If we talked about them in round 2, we were talking about their demise, but they're sitting comfortably in the top 5 at the moment.
Very good. Macca, what cast your little curiosity in that tash of yours in very impressive looking tash?
Yeah, I just know that the Frankston Bombers were a stiff to get relegated last year.
Yeah.
And I will look at them week in, week out. And
how much better is the Div 2 comp with them in it? Let's be honest.
37 shots at goal
on
the weekend. So, yeah, look, it's hard to sort of look past them, and I would love to see someone challenge them. I've got a lot of admiration for the Frankston Bombers football club, but it'd be great to see someone pop up and challenge them in a game. I think at the moment they're in cruise control.
Yeah, they are. They are, aren't they? And it looks like they're just going to go boing straight back up.
Yeah.
Straight back up. Commish.
Tired worry me.
Yeah, I was going to run with tired too.
they've played against a great opposition. There's no doubt about that, but they're paddling at best.
Yeah.
So we need to get some representation in here.
Playing with maximum points.
Playing with a lot of points, and we're not going anywhere. So we need to please explain there a little bit from Tyab, boys.
Yeah,
Let's
I reckon
get
you
going.
might be right. For me, seeing as you've taken Tyab, I don't think it's all over for Kringle. They'd be happy with that against Chelsea. 7-5-47. It's 76 points, Sus. But I mean,
albeit the 5 goals was in the last quarter for Kringle.
Okay. Well, that just fucks that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We pricked his balloon earlier on. So
Yeah, I know.
Don't come to a story without a chapter.
Gammers, your takeaways, please.
Well, I reckon you blokes have gone easy on me, so I'll say it. Rye getting over Somerville. Don't know the last time that happened, but I'll own up to that. That's a great win for Rye, and Somerville Football Netball Club have got some work to do this week on the track.
Yeah. And you are the man at the helm to make sure that, never say never, but to, I suppose, set some things straight that needs to happen, because like you said, Gammers, and we all alluded to that, at the end of the day, when you're winning across the ground and you're not getting the chocolates, it's a pretty hard pill to swallow. Isn't it?
So Gammers, just briefly, on that, you're obviously going to have a players' meeting and a sit down sort of stuff. But words are cheap. So what do we do here?
Well, hopefully we bring a couple of personnel back. Training's been pretty good the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Like we had that meeting probably after Devon Meadows, like 2-2, probably not playing the best.
Yeah.
After last year, we were 3-6 last year, and I don't love that maybe some in the club see that as a bit of a security blanket, that we did it last year, we can do it again, because that was really tough to dig out of that. And you don't win 10, 11 games in a row every year just to get yourself out of trouble. And it's not sustainable, and it won't put us in a position to win. So, we need to draw up a couple of little things. Hopefully, I think we'll have 2 really good ins this week, which will definitely help us. And, we just need to go down to Crib Point and do
a number
similar, but with better efficiency.
Yep.
Good.
Correct.
Excellent.
Correct. Beautiful segue, because let's jump straight into the round of upcoming. It is round 7, and again, the recognising reconciliation round. Still don't know what any of that means.
Never heard of that before.
Saturday, the 24th of May, sees Chelsea taking on Tyab Football Netball Club at Chelsea Recreation Reserve, and I'm afraid to say, Commish, it's not going to get any better for Tyab.
No, Chelsea with a leg in the air by at least 70 points.
Oh.
Let's get the engine rolling.
Yeah, no,
Looks
I
like
agree
they're
with that. Sus.
By plenty.
By plenty.
Yep.
Chelsea. Macca.
Yep.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more. Just starting to roll. Chelsea. Yep. I'll get them easy.
Yep. Agreed. Gammers.
Yeah, hard to see anything else, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. The next game to be played out in the I will get it by the end
Recognising
game.
reconciliation.
So you are going to say it every game?
I am going to.
I was just checking. You're not giving it up, are you? Just like Sammy. We're not giving up.
The recognising reconciliation round, Macca. The next game is going to be Crib Point taking on Somerville Football Netball Club at Crib Point Recreation Reserve. And I think it is time to turn around, and Somerville will come galloping down the road down to maybe catch the Stony Point. That might get a little bit of time.
The old red rattler.
Yeah, the old red rattler.
It's actually purple. But anyway.
Yeah, it is purple.
Yeah, we used to get excited to see the red rattler come past.
Oh, I used to love it. I was swinging hands with a girl that lived in Bitton, who was a 3-hour turnaround from Rye, the 788 up to Frankston, then the red rattler down to the Bitton train station. I tell you what, gee, she was. Yeah, it was.
We need the cross peninsula line.
It was worth it.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
Talk about that later.
With the budget tomorrow, there's talk around that the bus will go across the peninsula.
Really?
That's the
Wow.
chat.
We might get a crowd there.
Yeah, look out. Someone for me. Someone, anyone.
No, don't be shy.
No, Sammy.
Cribby were pretty good against Pearstone.
Yeah,
and they're bloody hard to beat at home. I like Cribby here, Gammers. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I reckon they're just getting going.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think it'd be close, but I think Cribby at home, they are tougher, and they were obviously in that game for a fair bit against Pearce.
A good opponent, yeah.
Look, I think it'll be close, and Gammers got a couple coming back.
Okay.
Obviously
Well,
not
that
giving
is
too
the
much
thing.
away
Who's
who they
coming
are,
back?
But, I'll say Crib Point just.
Okay, fair enough. And needless to say who you're going to go for. Gammers, Somerville all the way. Go the Eagles. The next game is Hastings taking on Kringle Football Netball Club. I think this is going to be a good game.
Yeah, well, we were in a similar position last week, so it puts a bit of spice into
Absolutely.
it. Kev will have them up and about, and
Yeah,
I'm
Kev
sure
will have them
Kringle
up and
will,
about.
fancy themselves as well.
Well, I think they will. They'll look at this Macca, won't they, as a winnable game.
Yeah, they will. 100% they will. And Hastings is a huge, huge, huge deck. So it'll be interesting to see whether Kev can, break the duck and get that win. And Kringle will be, fancy himself too. So I'll back Kev.
Yeah, I think I'm going to back Kev.
Yep.
Hastings, I think, too strong.
Yeah, I think so. Kringle, what'd you say, Sus? Kringle kicked the last 5 of the game. Is that what they did?
Our last 5 in the last quarter.
Okay.
So the other might went to sleep.
They'll have to start better. What I did notice in Kringle's best players was all their senior players stood up in that game, and I think if they stand up in this game, it'll be very, very close. I'll go Hastings just. They were better. Well, they actually put us to the sword for a quarter, Hastings, before we woke up. So, Hastings, but not by a lot.
Not by a lot. I don't mind that at all. The next game is Pearcedale taking on Rye Football Netball Club at Pearcedale Recreation Reserve, and it is during the recognising reconciliation round, Gammers.
You got it. Well done.
Yeah, thanks.
That's smooth.
So I won't say it again now.
Geez, Maury, frank that form for me, please, and knock over Pearcedale. That'd be nice. Wouldn't that change the narrative? Look, it looks like a tough ask, especially at Pearcedale. Pearcedale good out there at Truck Park or Tractor Park, whatever they call it out there. Yep. But Rye will be on a high. I'd expect we're sitting here next week and scores are pretty close at quarter time, maybe even half time, and then Pearcedale flex their muscles.
Yeah, agreed. I think Rye will have a red hot go, but just obviously with new systems and not quite the stock that they've got. Pearcedale, I think Pearcedale will run away with it in the second half. I do tend to agree with that.
Yeah, those top 3 teams, Bombers, Devon, and Pearcedale, are 4 or 5 goals better than anyone below them, including Rye. They'll get over Rye fairly easily.
Yeah, I think so. Sus.
Pearcedale overwhelmingly.
Yeah. Oh, I wouldn't. Oh, yeah. No, it might be in the end. Macca.
Yeah, Pearcedale will win it. It's interesting to see, too, that they're sitting third. Their percentage is a little bit lower than the rest of the sides around them. Chelsea's got 133. So, if this gets down to percentage means a lot.
Yeah.
If this gets a lot, the Bombers may be at the top, but then below that, they're going to need to – you want that double chance. So I would want – if I was coaching them, you wouldn't want them just winning. You want them –
No, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think there is a bit of a theory that if you can break even with Pearcedale in the midfield, you can score against them.
Yeah, well, their forward line's pretty handy, so if you just got to limit the amount of entries. Yep.
The next game, boys, is Seaford taking on Bomb Beach. Now, this is going to be a cracker at RF Miles Reserve along the Frankston train line there. Again, if you want, you just pop down. Oh, this is a night game, Sus.
Jesus, Seaford RSL be pumping.
Oh,
Will
it
it
is
ever?
going to be
Before and after.
They might cater.
Absolutely, they might cater. Well, I'll tell you
Jeez,
what.
I hope they do from what you've been
Macca.
saying.
Oh, Macca, you need to get down to the...
Yeah, you've told me all about
Oh,
this. I do need to
mate,
get this. It's the
it's
Palmer, isn't it?
incredible.
Is there a few
There's like 18 different Palmers. Seaford RSL.
Hey, I'm going to test you next week. You're going to name
humble little building
name
there,
everyone.
Absolutely.
Hey, you just need to note, I was just looking at Seaford just before. Have you had a look at their under-19s and then their reserves? They're actually, when you talk about depth in a side, I'd love to know, considering, like obviously our 19s travelling well too and we're using them, I'd love to hear how many under-19s are getting an opportunity at Seaford.
Well, you're going to get to because Bleeks will be joining us very soon.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you're here. I think Bomb Beach, I just think the way they're going at the moment, they... are they they're going to get better from week to week, and Bomb Beach for me.
I'm liking Seaford.
Yep.
So I'll run with Seaford.
Separated only by percentage, these two.
Well, any other round, this is selection table.
Yeah,
isn't
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
Any other round, this is selection
Yep.
table. Yeah.
Yep.
But Bonnie just getting going. I love Bonnie. Love the way they're going about it. They'll get over Seaford.
Yeah, I think they will.
I might get a clip from round 2 and just reflect what you're saying about Bonnie then. That's all.
That would be funny.
Well, they were probably just going.
They weren't
They weren't going at all. I probably said it was just a matter of time. They're a brilliant footy club, something like that.
I can
And
tell
Troy
you,
Schwartz is
Very
doing an
proud
amazing
football
job.
club.
I can tell you, you were definitely wearing a different hat.
He was. Because this is the
No, I
first
won't.
time he's worn it.
I won't let go of that.
Good idea.
No, Bomb Beach, Macca,
Seaford.
Seaford.
Okay,
Oh,
good on it.
Commish,
No, it's getting
Bonnie
interesting.
for you.
Bonnie for me.
Gammers.
Yeah, Bomb Beach for me.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. And the halftime heroes selection table match of the round, thanks to Frankston, Mornington, and Rosebud Toyota. It is going to be, well, we're calling this one the Spook Cup. It is between Devon, Meadows, and Frankston.
Those two teams aren't calling it that, though, are they?
No, I don't
No,
think.
those two teams won't call it
Pretty
anything
sure
like
that's not
that.
spoken about during the
That's
week.
the
Well, you've got Frankston Bombers who
that
can't
is
defend for
security.
fucking
Keep
shit.
behind the gate.
So that's the first time that both teams will have the same dartboard in their rooms. Amazing.
Yeah.
Well done, Spook.
Yeah, Frankston can't defend, and Devon Meadows were there shittly coached.
Well, they can't coach. Still can't coach.
No systems, and they cheat.
It's good to say that even if Bayswater had a bye, he wouldn't go to the game.
It might be in a hot air balloon or something, but he wouldn't be in it.
He might just be watching it from the comfort of his lounge
From a
room with a
distance.
drone, I think, maybe.
Yep.
If he,
A lot of his kids are
they've
down
got
there.
Park
though. It's,
Orchards this week. It's not, it's going to be tough.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's
Great
gonna be
game.
tough.
This is a great
Yeah.
game.
This is a
Okay.
great game of football, boys. There's no question about that. And I think, well, I mean, apart from maybe one or two others, I think if they're going to splinter Frankston, I think it'll be in the hands of Devon Meadows at Glover Reserve as well.
Yeah. Frankston will be too good for Devon out there, but
I think
not
too
by
good.
a whole lot.
No,
Not by a whole lot. If Devon get their A graders going, and they will, it's whether Jolie goes forward, isolate him one-on-one. What do you do with Hillis? You isolate him? Just let him go
I love
one-on-one?
he looks. He was a shocking matchup when he goes forward.
Yeah, he's a pig. Yeah,
Yeah.
you got no one.
Yeah.
I don't reckon the Bombers have got anyone who can go
Well,
sit on him.
the
Well,
other one
considering the
is-
Bombers don't defend, as Spook would say.
Yeah, well, they can't. They got the back line coach. Doesn't he?
That's right. The back line
Doesn't know what
coach
he's
doesn't
doing
do
either.
anything.
The other one is does Frawley play this one?
Wow. The word is that
yeah.
no one really knows what Frawley's going to be doing.
He was
Bring
playing
up the-
playing another
He
7 or 8,
hasn't
wasn't he?
really committed.
Bring up the VFL fixture, see where Gold Coast are
Yeah,
playing.
right.
right.
Very
That's
good.
good.
So while we're going through that, we might just have a little look at
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But look, this is set to be. Obviously, we chose it, so it's going to be a cracking game. Devon Meadows at their home ground. It is a hard game to call either way, but I think Frankston Bombers. I think just their cattle, their top six. I think is better than Devon Meadows. Therefore,
I think it's their bottom six is better than Devon's bottom
Yeah.
six. I think their top six are really even.
Mm.
You know, when you
Yeah,
put
okay.
a midfield battle without but their bottom six, I think, are going to be better than bottom 6 to 8 will be better than Devon's bottom 6 to 8, and the game will be won there.
So we're saying if the Gold Coast Suns are playing Sunday over here,
Sandy?
Sunday, Sandy on Sunday, that he's a chance to play Saturday.
Oh, he's
you'd
playing
have to
then.
think.
He'll
He'll
play.
play. Well, that might change the
If
equation.
you've got him and Joel up in the same forward line,
Oh, shit.
they're certainly going to push him. I still think the Bombers because I just know how they're a good side. I just know how good they are. But I just it's a cracking game.
it's a cracking game.
It is.
Now, answer me this. So, Frawley's going to play, what, on Sunday?
No,
So
he'll
his
coach.
No.
VFL side
No,
is
he's
Yeah,
development
that's right.
coach. Yeah,
so he
He-
would be
he's-
available
he'll-
Saturday.
Is he a line coach?
Yeah,
Sunday?
see,
He's
yeah,
a
that's
line
right.
coach.
He'd be available Saturday.
I believe so. He's a
Yeah.
development
Okay,
coach
yeah,
for the
that's
AFL.
right.
Development coach. Yeah, right.
There you go.
So I'll call it the top 5 of Devon Meadows against the top 7 of Frankston Bombers. That's how it's shaping up.
Okay. So,
So therefore, let's it's a 0-0 draw there. We've got to go. Let's look down the list a little bit. And what are the bottom 6 or 7
I
doing?
reckon Frankston. Just the age difference with Devon and the younger group there at Devon, the age difference, Frankston gets them across the line.
I agree. And I
Yeah.
think that Division 1 experience too probably gets them.
yeah, I think so.
But a good game of
Good game of footy.
Well,
$12
it's
bucks
the-
worth $12
It's
there.
the two best defensive teams in the comp
Yeah.
by a long way. Frankston have had the softer draw of the two teams so far. So their fours of 751 versus Devon 568. I think the Kringle game throws that out because that was like 160 points or whatever it was.
Yeah.
The only way I can split them so far, because I think we've just evened those out, is that one's beaten Pearstone and one hasn't. So Pearstone beat Devon in round one. It was a good game. And Frankston, Pearstone beat Devon and Frankston beat Pearstone the other day. That's the only way I can split them.
Yeah.
But being at Devon, I think we're underestimating Devon a little bit here. If anyone's going to take Frankston down the first half of the season, because I think a couple of teams may take them down the second half of the season. It'll be Devon. I think Devon bat a bit deeper than 5. I think they bat down to about 8 or 9, and I think Frankston about the same. At home, don't be surprised. Devon for me.
Devon for you.
Geez, some good
Love it.
Some good lineups there too as well. You know, you got Grant AFL, you got Kent, you got a heap there.
So talking about best players in the comp, like I think I've got one in Mason.
Yes.
Mason.
Yeah, no,
if
no
you
doubt.
ask Mason who's the best player in the comp, the first name that comes to his mind without thinking is Dean Kent.
Oh, yeah.
He has Dean Kent's a level above. When he
Yeah.
gets going, he's injury prone, but when he gets going, rips games apart.
Scary.
And he can play at any position in our comp.
Harrison Pryor is a big part of that huge Bomber side too, just giving them first use.
God,
And you know, you look at that midfield. I mean, it's pretty good. But I don't discount what you're saying. I think, you know, if they've got Frawley playing, he's going to be a huge focal point for them.
I'm tipping an upset. Like I won't go away from that, but I
Yeah.
don't think it's going to be as foregone conclusion as what we might be.
Well,
thinking.
Frawley's good for 4, isn't he? He goes forward.
Oh,
He kicks 4.
yeah.
He kicked 1 a
For
quarter.
sure.
So
Sure.
there's
And he's
4
a
goals in
night-
front.
he's
There's
just a
net 4 goals
nightmare
in front to
matchup.
start
And then
off
do
with.
you put a Joel Hillis down there who you can't defend?
Well,
Well,
Frankston
you
don't
get those two
tag.
separate.
That's-
as long as they're
that's
not over
right.
each other.
Frankston don't tag. So Joel around the ball for me.
Yeah.
If Joel and Nick battle get off the chain here, this is a serious football game.
Yeah. No,
And if you don't tag them, they could get 40 each.
Then you got Kai Williams, who there's massive reps on him through the midfield.
Absolutely.
Really seriously slippery
Jeez,
play.
this makes me want to go down and watch
It's
this game.
going to be
It's
a
huge.
little prelude to August.
Oh.
They're a bit
Maybe.
better. Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Well, we're calling it the Spook Cup, and the stage is set for both his favourite teams, Devon Meadows Football Netball Club and Frankston Bombers. One can't be coached and the other can't defend. It's going to be very, very interesting to play out at Glover.
That about sums it up. That's about right. That's good.
That is the Division 2 football show. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with Sus's Pallets and the Wrap. You're listening and watching the Halftime Heroes.
Nestled on the beautiful Mornington Peninsula, Sharmac Lodge offers a peaceful 6-bedroom retreat in Rye for short-term stays for adults of all ages living with disability or illness. Overnight or day stays are available 7 days a week with tailored care provided around the clock. Guests can also participate in daily activities on the peninsula, making it a perfect getaway. Rest easy knowing your loved one's care is personalised to their needs. Finally, a short-term respite solution that brings peace of mind and can be funded under your home care package or NDIS funding. Book a tour today with the welcoming team at Sharmac Lodge. Visit aftercare.com.au or search Sharmac Lodge today. Let their family help your family.
Welcome back to the Halftime Heroes. I'll tell you what, one day I'm just going to leave the camera on and you're going to get to see what we talk about during the breaks, because I'm telling you what, it's very, very fucking entertaining. The next segment we like to call Sus's Pallets. Bring in that forklift, Sus, and let's get that fucker review lifted right up.
Rightio, folks. I'm just seeing all the things on cost of living and all that type of thing, and I'm just wondering what councils are supposed to do. I've laid off the umpires. Umpires are they're trying to do their thing. We're trying to give them a handout. But you know, there's a song and dance going around the Mornington Peninsula that we've cut council funding to dolphin research on Port Phillip Bay.
Oh, think of the Dolphins. What about the Dolphins?
And I'm just thinking,
Why would they do that?
And I'm just thinking, I don't think that's a council thing. And I'm just thinking that the Bellarine Council don't do it, the Frankston Council don't do it, the Bass Shire Council don't do it. No freaking council does it except the Mornington Shire Council. So how about we have a look and just see what the facilities are like at around all our sporting clubs, not just football, the whole gamut, lawn bowls, the whole lot, and make sure we can go to the toilet properly without getting rained on or doing anything stupid, and just make sure that everything's fine. So,
What about the Dolphins?
I applaud the council and the councillors and what they're doing at the moment. I really do, and they're just looking after the R's, roads, rubbish, and Rildings. So no, I really applaud them at the moment. So let's see how they go. That's my Pallets. That's yeah. I don't think
Rildings.
I don't think Mornington Peninsula people who pay their rates are really responsible for dolphin research. That's all I'm just
Dolphin
saying.
research.
Or the
I didn't know they
landslide
did.
in McRae.
Yes.
Well, we're paying for that.
No, exactly.
The rates are going up.
Oh, that's another bloody
Don't build
segment.
your house
That's
on a
another,
cliff, mate.
that's
That's
another
okay.
segment for another time.
That's okay.
Oh, yeah, don't build
Don't
your
build
house on the cliff.
You want the views when you slip down the hill, you're bitching and whinging.
Yeah.
Look what
What
you've
do you
gone
want?
and done, Sus. You've
Oh,
just
jeez.
started
That's
a
just
Absolutely.
volcano.
Yes. No, very good for you. Think about the Dolphins. Oh, don't think fuck the Dolphins. Is that what you're saying?
Sort of, yeah.
You are. You are a little bit.
Well,
Because it's about Rildings.
Well, I haven't seen a dolphin that's taken up a lease in the Mornington Peninsula waters. If they want to go over to the Bellarine Peninsula, they can go for a swim over there. If they want to go for holidays up to St Kilda, they can go up to there.
Exactly.
If they want to go down to Port Fairy and go tuna fishing, they can go down there.
Are we seriously paying for dolphin?
No. So we're paying for an education program, and I'm probably touching on Macca side. I don't really want to do, but we've got 63 primary schools on the Mornington Peninsula, but we only do the dolphin research program at 20 of them.
Right.
So if we're paying for dolphin
Is
research,
the land of the croaking frog in
No,
that?
No, we're not in that.
Oh, how do you get on that,
Yeah,
Macca?
we need to be part of that.
You need to be part of that all the way.
That's over in Hastings, isn't it? The Dolphin Institute, I believe.
yes,
Yeah.
yep.
Oh, the Dolphin
Ah,
Institute.
Great place.
I'm not having a go, but
They wouldn't swim in the Western Port Bay, would they? The
yeah,
dolphins?
yeah.
Oh, it's good
But-
over there. You wouldn't remember.
Any self-respecting dolphin wouldn't swim in the
Beautiful over there.
Western Port
Oh,
Bay.
Did you know? Did you know there's
I'm
another
I'm going to get nailed on
Mount
this.
Martha or
Hey,
somewhere.
the Prado? The Prado wouldn't never have seen Western.
No, the Prado hasn't been past. Like tired since.
I can't believe you even sit at the same desk as me. To be fair.
Well, you are up. You
We
are
are
up,
separated, aren't we?
You are up. You are up the bogan end. So
Can I give a shout out while we're on this topic?
Yes.
Did anyone see the Frankston Dolphins win on the weekend? The way they did that? Did you see that?
Correct.
No.
Yes, I
Oh,
did.
VFL.
Talking about Dolphins, you just segued into it.
Yeah,
One with a kick after the time.
Oh, I read about it.
Yeah, Blake O'Leary.
Yep.
but
Yeah.
we got,
O'Leary.
as
flying, aren't they?
usual, the Coburg crowd have jumped up and called it a controversial decision.
Tell you what, ice in his veins though. Did you see the kick?
And that was outside 50, wasn't
I
it?
actually
Yeah.
did see that. I did
Absolute
see that.
beauty. Good on them.
They've had a
Yeah,
couple.
they're going really
they've had
well.
a couple on the trot. So
Yep.
well done, Frankston. Doing
Absolutely.
very
Getting
well.
good crowd. I went down to the Richmond Frankston game. Good crowds down
Was
there.
that you on the hill?
There was. I've never seen so many bugs in all my life. It was
Yeah.
bugs. Wasn't there? So you were there.
Yeah, I was there. I got bugged off. So,
It was
yeah.
ridiculous. And honestly,
I couldn't.
it was.
I was like
It was
this.
everyone was.
They're
It was
called
just-
Frankston locals. What are you?
No, they were.
Jeez,
they
you
were-
I was gonna
harsh,
say,
mate.
you're really
Man,
selling
alive,
it.
there's no-
Don't know what they were hanging
Jeez,
around,
eh?
You're really
No.
selling it, so they
Boy.
keep backing it out.
No, it was shit house. And Richmond lost. It was a shit game.
They need to turn the top lights on
Did they?
so they could fry the bugs. they
Just
only
a quick zap.
yeah, unbelievable.
It's too close to the Social Security office. Well, that is a wrap from the Halftime Heroes. I'd like to thank Pete Susovich and the Susovich family for the lend of his garage once again. Thank you to you, Chief.
Oh, it's great. Oh, look,
Cheese platter.
Oh, cheese platter, the spread.
I just want to say congratulations to Mac and hope he does well on the audition for Yellowstone or
Here's the new rip.
Tell you what, you mentioned Yellowstone. My missus loves Yellowstone. So
Oh,
I reckon I'm a good
I
one.
was
I reckon I'm a good one.
absolutely-
Fair chance I'll be able to keep this.
absolutely
I'll mention it
obsessed.
tonight.
No, what's that old cowboy that looks like he's got a whole bunch of carrots right up his coit?
Yeah,
Up the
that's him,
nose.
isn't it?
What's the, yeah, that's because that was
Yeah,
his
one of them.
mustache. He was a fantastic character. I'm not saying you've got a bunch
I'll
of
hold it.
carrots
I'll hold it for a bit longer.
up the
Not
nose.
just a couple. not
Up
a
the
bunch.
nose, not just a bunch, up the older nose. Thank you to you, Leigh, Macca, McQuillan.
No worries.
Good luck this
Lovely.
week. Absolutely. And to you, Commish.
Always a pleasure. Nice to get some sensibility back
Yeah.
in the room after last week's debacle.
Hardly. Jesus and Gammers. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks very much. It was good to have a coach's corner on the podium tonight.
Yeah,
Not quite at the top,
Oh,
though.
was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you've fucking done your dash. I'll be considering.
That is a wrap from the Halftime Heroes. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night.